left-hander Bob Ojeda, who scattered 10 hits in going the distance for the win. So today, with the championship series even at 1-1, we begin a 3-game stand at Shea Stadium in New York. Coming in from Houston, where it is still summer-like, to New York City, you walk immediately into the bite of autumn, 52 degrees, and you immediately feel the bite of the home crowd. Perhaps the most vocal gathering in all of baseball. So much has been made of the home crowd at Shea Stadium. The people seem to believe as they purchase their ticket, it becomes part of their chore, if you will, to get involved and make themselves heard on every play and every pitch. And let's go quickly on that subject to our analyst Tim McCarver and talk about it. You know them well. You spend a lot of time with them. Do they, in this particular case, you feel, stand to have an impact on the Astros?
I don't think there's any question about it, Keith. As a matter of fact, the fans here at Shea vicariously are affected by the way their ball club performs on the field. They actually feel like they're down there rooting for them. Now, there are other cities that could claim this, but here at Shea Stadium, as you can hear, these fans here actually feel like they're down there as part of the New York Mets. And you hear in the background, I'm telling you, it's noise. The one thing about the noise level at this ballpark, it does have some place to go. At the Dome in Houston, no place to go.
Let's talk about the pitching matchup now. Knepper, the left-hander, 17-12 on the year. Darling, the right-hander for the Mets, also had a fine year.
Ron Darling got off to a good start. He won his first 6 decisions, ended the year with a 15-6 record, and he had a strong September with a 1.81 ERA in September and October. Bob Knepper, on the other hand, was 9-2 in his first 11 decisions. Then he really hit a soft spot and had a bad second half. However, in his last outing, he did pitch 5 perfect innings. So both are geared. You throw away all the stats, and they're ready to go.
Let's talk about these Houston Astros for a moment now. In the 17 innings they have played, 8 times they have had the leadoff man on base, but they have only scored 2 runs.
I was talking to Hal Lanier about it before the ball game, and he's very concerned about that because that's how the Astros get their rallies going. If they're going to score 3 or 4 runs in a ball game, with the exception of Glenn Davis, perhaps Kevin Bass, they're not going to have the 3-run homer. So it's very important that they not only get the guys on base, but move them around also.
Well, we've got quite a day here on ABC, and tonight we start out here at roughly at noon with Game 3 of the National League Championship Series. Tonight we'll have the American League Championship Series, and in between we will have CFA college football. So we think you'll enjoy the day.
This ABC Sports exclusive is brought to you by the Heartbeat of America, today's Chevrolet, by Coors and Coors Light, beers with a difference worth tasting, by the U.S. Armed Forces, it's a great place to start, and by IBM and the growing family of IBM personal computers. We'll return with Game 3 of the National League Championship Series after this message and a word from your local station.
We're not a company, but we'll give you a chance to work where there's always a challenge. We'll give you opportunities to learn, to develop, to perfect skills that you thought were beyond your reach. We'll help you build a career that can reward you for the rest of your life. We're not a company. We're your country. We're the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines. We're the Armed Forces. It's a great place to start.
Today's small cars are tougher than ever on oil. Their high-compression engines not only rev high, they can run hotter than regular small car engines. Their searing heat can begin to break down an oil immediately. That's why there's Castrol, the only leading motor oil that in every grade provides maximum protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown. So use Castrol before your engine does something to get you heated up. Castrol, engineered for today's smaller cars.
On the Disney Sunday movie, he was a has-been who found hope.
All you have to do is believe.
Roy Scheider, Justin Henry, dreams can come true in Tiger Town.
Mom, Dad's home. They're in the oven.
Oh, you hungry Jack, oh, so tender hot. Ah, you want my soul. Oh.
Careful, Dad, your face is gonna stick like that.
hungry jack, oh.
I see it smiling.
A hungry jack, oh.
For over 30 years, 13 Eyewitness News at 7 a.m. has been serving the Houston area.
We want you to be the best informed with news that happened overnight while you slept.
We know where there are traffic problems and care how you get to work.
Our weathercasts are geared to help you plan your day around the changing Gulf Coast weather.
13 Eyewitness News at 7 a.m., a 30-year tradition with Van Hackett, Don Nelson, and Doug Brown. We care about people.
The movie, tonight at 10:30 here on 13.
We'll be back to Shea Stadium in just a few minutes for the opening pitch of game number 3. But right now, this ABC News special report. Here is Peter Jennings from Reykjavik, Iceland.
Keith, we are 4 hours ahead of you here in Iceland, and it is a lovely afternoon. And at a little after 4 o'clock in the afternoon, Mr. Reagan and Mr. Gorbachev are about 30 minutes into their second summit session of the day. In fact, take a look at Hovde House, which is up on the edge of Huxaflói Bay here in Reykjavik, and look at that gorgeous rainbow over Huxaflói Bay, there behind the minimum security that has been put up around this wonderful old wooden house in a modest surrounding for the leaders. They are now talking for the second time today. They have been provided, as I said, with modest surroundings, and this is the break session after they had lunch here this morning. They went early this morning to Hovde House to have their first session. President Reagan was the first to arrive. Mr. Gorbachev was the second. What happens in these sessions, protocol being very important, is that Mr. Reagan, in this case for the first session, arrived first and is the host for the first session. He came with the Secretary of State and his National Security Advisor, and then Mr. Gorbachev came along. You probably noticed Mr. Reagan without a coat. The Icelanders are going to rectify that, because they have produced beautiful coats for Mr. and Mrs. Reagan and Mr. and Mrs. Gorbachev. The president was out the door as he was the host to meet Mr. Gorbachev, and they listened for just a moment to the shouts of reporters. They didn't get any answers. They didn't say anything particularly substantial outside. And then they went in and sat down in some rather uncomfortable surroundings, so uncomfortable for what's called a photo-op session that they decided to work over a table this morning and had their first session with the American delegation not saying anything other than they were friendly and businesslike. Walt Rogers is standing by because the Soviets had just a little to say. Walt, what's the tenor of the Soviet camp?
Peter, it's fascinating to hear the hype the Soviets are putting on today's meeting. It's as if they want to pressure the United States to get their way. They say the fate of future Soviet-American dialogue, meaning a summit conference in Washington, hangs on what we see here today.
Okay, Walt, thank you very much. Walt Rogers out close to Hovde House. We'll be here through the remainder of the day to bring you up to date as best we can on the second session, which should end, if it ends on schedule, in about an hour and a half from now. In the meantime, I'm Peter Jennings in Reykjavik. Hope you enjoy the rest of the game. Back to you.
New York City, big enough to absorb almost any event without a noticeable break in its stride. Yom Kippur, Columbus Day, 3 games of the National League Championship Series, the Giants-Eagles football, all happening this weekend. If you know how, getting about this city can be reasonably convenient. Here is a man who has finally figured it out. Jack Whitaker.
Subways are New York's circulatory system. And while they are crowded and noisy and sometimes dirty, they remain the quickest way to get to work or school or even a baseball game. This weekend, the big train is the number 7, which begins its journey under Times Square in Manhattan. It then travels under the East River through the Steinway tunnels, which were built for trolley cars by William Steinway, the Piano King, in 1892. The twin tunnels were converted to subway use by August Belmont in 1902.
You can't beat the trains. You can't beat the trains. It's better than going through the traffic. Best thing in the world to be trained to the game. Number 7 lines.
It's already a legend because it does not wear the wretched raiment of graffiti. It has beaten the Day-Glow pencil.
You have everything. Air conditioning in summertime and in wintertime, night and heat. That's the best train we can have in the whole United States.
The number 7 train runs under and over an international group of neighborhoods with old names like Woodside, Jackson Heights, Elmhurst, Corona, and Flushing. In them, you will find Asians and Indians, Irish, Italians, Jews and Hispanics, an ethnic mix strong and ever-changing and ever-mixing. This benefits a line that has serviced 2 World's Fairs during its eventful history. All of this mix makes up Queens, the largest of New York's 5 boroughs and the home of the Mets. The number 7 train connects these neighborhoods and in the summertime takes people out to the ball game.
Well, there you have it. A different way to get to the ballpark than you'll find in Houston or other cities in this country. And while the New York subway system may not be as elegant as those in Moscow and Paris say, in Paris, the subways can't take you to the ball game, can they? And that's what we're doing right now. Once again, here's Keith Jackson.
Jack, thank you very much. Though they are talking about having some baseball played in the Soviet Union, maybe one of these days the Moscow subways will haul you to the ballpark, too. I think we should talk just a little bit about the weather, though, because there is rain forecast for Monday. They think, we know we'll get this one in today in 50-degree temperature. Tomorrow, possibility of some light rain because it's an evening game, but Monday, every weatherman in town seems to be dead firm that it's going to rain.
And if it's going to be rain, it's going to be a cold rain.
That's right. The teams are about ready to make their appearance on the field. Let's first off check the batting order for the Houston Astros, and they will show a little bit of a change today in that Bill Doran goes to the top of the order. He's 1 out of 8 in the playoff series 2 games. Batting number 2 and playing center field will be Billy Hatcher. He's 1 of 8. Denny Walling back at third base with the right-hander pitching for the Mets. He's 0 for 4. Glenn Davis, the first baseman, hits cleanup. He has the home run that won the first game for them. Kevin Bass stays in right field, and that's number 5. Hitting number 6, left fielder Jose Cruz, 2 of 8 in the series. And catching Alan Ashby, 1 for 1 as a left-handed hitter. He'll be on the left side today. Batting number 8, it'll be the shortstop Craig Reynolds, also a left-handed hitter, and he was 2 for 3 with Bob Knepper on the mound. Now, Bob Knepper is not a gimme at the plate. He has a couple of doubles and a triple on this season. Now the Mets are in place defensively. Outside, Kevin Mitchell is in left field today with Mookie Wilson moving over to center. Darryl Strawberry in right. Keith Hernandez at first base. Tim Tuffle goes in at second base today instead of Wally Backman. Santana remains at short for the Mets, and Knight stays over at third with Gary Carter back at the plate and Ron Darling doing the pitching. And before we get ready to go, let's spend a moment with Tim McCarver as he talked with Kevin Bass, the colorful right fielder for the Houston Astros. Here's their conversation.
All right, Kevin, we made the deal the other day about the shoes, and I just wanted you to know that I've kept my end of the bargain with Shoe Trees. That's with Shoe Trees. Oh, okay, so now your end of the bargain, the Sammy Davis Jr.
The Sammy Davis, man? I mean, like, you're just a real cool cat, man, for doing this for me. I mean that. I really do. And I just want to thank all the people in New York, man, because it's just been a really gas of a time for me. You know what I mean, man?
I can dig it, babe.
I know you can, because I can. Hey, I really thank you for these. These are nice.
You're welcome.
What do you pay about it? $90 for these?
Oh, we won't get into that. Thanks a million.
All right.
How about Keith Jackson? One more time. Yes.
Okay, here we are, everybody. We're here at the LCS playoffs, and I'm Keith Jackson along with my co-host, Tim McCarver. What do you got to say about that, Tim? And we'll be back in a moment.
Oh, me. Another one.
You gotta love it. Here I am without shoes up here.
Bill Doran has come to the plate. Quick question, Tim, with the movement in the lineup defensively for the Mets. Supple at second base, Wilson going to center, and Mitchell into left. What does it do defensively?
Well, I think the Mets are weakened at second base because of the limited range of Tim Tuffle and the limited range of Kevin Mitchell in left field. They are weaker defensively, but as strong offensively.
First pitch of the ball game by Ron Darling is on the outside corner, a fastball for called strike one. Doran, remember, was taken out of the leadoff spot, shoots it to the right side. Big gravy bounce for Hernandez, flips it over to Darling covering, and the leadoff man is out 3-1. Doran finally getting over that full groin pull, now has the physical health to go back into the leadoff spot. Watch the hop here.
Not as tough a hop because the hop occurred a long ways away from Hernandez and gave him an opportunity to adjust to it.
They play on Mother Earth here at Shea Stadium. No rug here. Mickey Hatcher, who batted in the cleanup spot the first two games of the series. Billy Hatcher is up there now, 1 of 8, 125. And he is not the most patient guy in town when it comes to taking pitches. He likes to jump on that first pitch, particularly if it is a fastball. Billy Hatcher will be followed by Denny Walling, who will be a left-handed hitter, and Hatcher calling time steps out. Hatcher's speed in center field, though, has been a very big defensive plus for these Houston Astros. He made a catch the other night when it looked like for all the world the ball was going to fall in. He just simply kept churning after it and came home with it. The 1-1 pitch misses low and away, and it's 2-1. The wind seems to be blowing straight in, but you never know. That's banged over the pitcher's mound, out into center field. Tuffle made a run at it and couldn't flag it. And so Hatcher now hitting in the number 2 spot has a base hit, a bouncing single to center. Now Denny Walling, dangerous hitter.
And an interesting confrontation between Ron Darling with one of the best right-handed pitchers' pickoff moves in the National League, and Billy Hatcher, a man who will run. Darling with very quick feet.
He'll make a couple of different motions to you. Out of the stretch, he'll put the ball in the glove, and after the set, he'll oftentimes just turn almost automatically and throw to first base. This time he comes to the plate, and Walling fouls it away on the left side. You got to watch his feet. I think that's the key to Darling.
Very, very quick feet. They were so quick, as a matter of fact, he played defensive half at Yale University for 2 years. Defensive back for Yale, and also played shortstop until his junior year when he became a pitcher.
He's a native son of Hawaii, Honolulu, but actually grew up and went to high school in Worcester, Mass. And that's how he got over to Yale. Hatcher goes, pitch, good pitch to throw on. Carter fires it down, and he's safe. That pitch was up and out and gave Carter a good set position for the throw, but Hatcher just burned it.
You have heard of acceleration starting off, but Billy Hatcher had acceleration finishing up. He looked to be out, and that last burst of speed right before the slide and the straight end slide, and Rafael Santana did not apply a quick tag. Kind of a slow tag there.
Walling loops one to right. It's going to drop for a base hit. Hatcher turns. He's coming home. Strawberry whips it back in, and it's too late. And Houston gets the lead 1-0 as Walling drives in Hatcher from second base. And there's the aggressiveness of the Houston Astros surfacing early in this ball game.
And that's something that they have not done in the previous 2 games, even though they did win the 1-0 game. We talked about that tag of Rafael Santana. And it's up to a shortstop or a second baseman when they do get a good throw to make a quick tag. And Santana did not make a quick tag on that throw by Carter.
He also took care not to put that hand down, and with the spikes coming in too, which may have cost him the out. Glenn Davis, 31 home runs on the regular season, hit the home run off Dwight Gooden to beat the Mets 1-0 in the opening game. The pitch outside and coming to the backstop, and Walling moves on down to second base.
Here's that tag again on Billy Hatcher. You see Santana coming down slowly and actually misses his foot.
Yep.
I think you're right, Keith. Had he come right down on the foot, then that glove is wedged between the foot and the base, and Hatcher's out of there.
He figured he might need 2 or 3 of those fingers on that hand before the day is over. Wild pitch is charged to Darling on the advance of Walling, and Davis is up there now with a 2-ball and no strike count. Even though the feeling up here is the wind is blowing in and the flag is showing that as well, it's not necessarily the case because the wind swirls around inside this horseshoe-like structure. Outside corner, ball strike. 2-1 on Davis. Kevin Bass is on deck. Look at Walling at second and inside corner this time on Davis, and your count is 2-2. He's moving it in and out. And remember, he too can throw the split-fingered fastball, but cannot throw it with the speed of a fellow like a Mike Scott.
That's the difference between Ron Darling this year and years past. His split-finger fastball, and I would expect that Davis will get that on this count.
It was a split-fingered fastball, but he did not have control of it, and Glenn Davis, twisting away, took the ball on the left shoulder, and you've got 2 Astros aboard with 1 out.
Something that may have something to do with this is the weather. It is 52 degrees, as Keith said, and Darling was blowing on his hands. Umpires have given the pitchers permission, obviously, to blow on their hands, so the reaction of Darling appeared to reveal, I said the pitcher's position, the umpire's permission to blow on the hand.
Kevin Bass steps in now with Walling out at second base, Davis at first base, and Darling is in with a strike to start him. Just inside. Fielder playing him straight away. The center fielder Wilson is shading him toward right center. Big hole out there in left center. Foul at the plate.
Yeah, and usually when your center fielder moves, he'll take the outfielder with him, but as you can see, Kevin Mitchell is playing Bass like a right-handed hitter, a shade to pull. Now you see Wilson moving to a little bit more of a straightaway position because of the count. There's Kevin Mitchell, who started 28 games in left field this year. Mookie Wilson, a little more straightaway because of the count. Hitters are less inclined to pull the ball with 2 strikes.
And your count is 1-2 on Kevin Bass. With 1 out, a run in, and 2 on. And that's foul left side. Again, foul to the left side by Kevin Bass. Darling trying to get him outside, and Bass has spoiled the last 2 pitches.
Well, that's why Kevin Bass had a good year this year. Ron Darling has worked him with fastballs with 2 strikes. But the good hitters foul off the good pitches. And the bad hitters, the guys who hit 240, put them in play.
Walling at second, Davis at first, Cruz waiting on deck, Bass at 1 and 2. 2 and 2 as the pitch is outside.
We talked about the split finger fastball with Darling. The reason that he was reluctant to throw it initially, the size of his fingers. He does not have big fingers, and it requires long fingers in order to control that split finger fastball.
Strike 3. Breaking pitch looking inside corner. Bass beats at Frank Pulley a bit, the home plate umpire today, but walks away the second out.
Bass, I assume, thought this ball was low. And there's that split finger fastball, and I think Kevin's got a pretty good complaint. That ball did appear to be low.
He seems to turn it a bit inside to that left-handed hitter, too. The ball seems to have that kind of movement. With 2 down, here is Jose Cruz, and that's a strike. Kevin having a good longing look, I think, back up at home plate. One strike on Cruz. The gap remains left center field for him. And he goes the other way into the hole at shortstop, into left field for a base hit. Here comes Walling around third, and he will score. It's 2-0 Houston. So the stolen base by Hatcher, and if you will, the timid and or late tag by Santana at second base on the throw by Carter. Walling knocked him in, and now Cruz has delivered Walling.
Ball grounded to the right of Rafael Santana, and it had some punch on it too. Kevin Mitchell, playing moderately deep, had no play at Dennis Walling, whereas in the dome he probably would have had a play because the ball would have gotten to him a lot quicker. Ball does not carry through this grass very fast.
Alan Ashby, the Houston catcher, is now up. The Astros jumping out to a 2-0 lead, and Darling goes outside with a pitch. Ashby, as a left-hander in the opening game, was 1 for 1, walked twice against Gooden. And again, Darling is outside. Craig Reynolds is a shortstop today with Darling pitching, the right-hander, and so he'll be up next. So Rod's going to be looking at a lot of guys coming from that crooked arm side of the plate today. And Reynolds was 2 for 3 in his opening game. That's the inside corner. Davis, second base, throw back on him. They got him. Glenn Davis ambling along. I don't think expecting movement from Darling. I told you to watch his speed. He's quick out there.
Well, that's the daylight play. He was awfully quick and just getting Glenn Davis at second base. When the pitcher sees daylight between the shortstop and the runner at second, he wheels and throws blindly to the bag, and they nail Davis.
But the Houston Astros put 2 runs on the scoreboard in the top of the first. The Mets coming up.
When me and my buddies head off to West Texas, nothing works like my Chevy S10 Maxi-Cab 4x4. With Instacrack 4-wheel drive, the optional off-road suspension, it can take us to the wildest place in the West. The Terlingua Chili Cook-Off. Come and get it! Good, huh? Yeah. Nothing works like a Chevy truck. Nothing.
You know, the weirdest things happen
And to me, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. I mean, here I am stocking up for Halloween. I got my steak, got my ribs. Then when I ask the stock boy where the Coors Light is at, he points me to the Coors and Coors Light Halloween display, and I'm on it. Whoa, it's like deja vu. Whoa, it's like deja vu. Look for it where you buy beer. I shop here because they slash prices. There goes another one. Happy Halloween, darling.
Shea Stadium in New York, the home of the Mets. And we're scheduled for 3 in the National League Championship Series here at Shea. The batting order for the New York Mets now, and this will be a little different than you saw in the first 2 games. The left-hander Bob Knepper out on the mound. Mookie Wilson will be leading off, playing center field. Mookie is 1 of 8 so far in the 2 ball games. Kevin Mitchell on the year in his first start today in the series, batting second, .277. Keith Hernandez hitting third, the first baseman. Gary Carter batting cleanup, the catcher, 1 of 9. Darryl Strawberry in right field, hitting fifth, 1 of 7. Ray Knight batting number 6. He's 1 for 7 so far. Number 7 hitter is Tim Tuffle. His first start, .247 on the season. Santana, the shortstop, batting 8, and the pitcher, Ron Darling. Darling on the year had 8 hits and 81 at bats. And up at the plate, Wilson from the right side as Knepper comes in with a strike. Knepper was 3-1 against New York this year. He had 4 starts. His career against the Mets, lifetime 11-11. That's a foul ball, and ricochets up into the crowd.
Bob was also the first pitcher to shut out the Mets this year. He beat them 3-0, and then less than 48 hours later came back and beat the Mets in relief.
He went around, and Mookie Wilson will go in the book as a strikeout for the first out of the ball game for the Mets. Kevin Mitchell will come to the plate now. Defensively for Houston, outside it's Cruz, Hatcher, Bass. Inside it's Davis, Doran, Reynolds, Walling. Ashby back at the plate, and Knepper on the mound. The umpires today, Frank Foley calling the balls and strikes. Dutch Rennert at first, Joe West second, Fred Brocklander third, Doug Harvey left field line, and Lee Wire right field line. Kevin Mitchell, another one of the players who profited from the philosophy of Davy Johnson. Fine athlete, but you got so many sometimes it's hard to find a place for them to play. But he found a place for this young man from San Diego who hits a high towering pop that goes foul and back in the crowd. He even tried him at shortstop during the course of the year.
He was the only player in the major leagues to play 6 positions this year, and the first player in big league ball to play 6 positions since Alan Bannister did it for the Texas Rangers back in 1984.
He had 43 runs batted in on the year and hit 12 home runs. The 1-strike pitch from Knepper changes speeds on the breaking pitch and drops it right in for strike 2. Knepper is not as slower and slower as Ojeda was the other night, but he will change speeds on you, and he does that to move the ball around very well. That's outside. Very durable man, averaged 32 starts over his last 10 seasons in the major leagues, and missed only 1 scheduling start. That was back in 1980, and it came from one of those usual problems. A household accident, cut his finger slicing up a grapefruit. How many times has that happened? Foul ball left side. Hit sharply, but well fouled.
Tim Raines of the Montreal Expos this year missed 3 games when he tried to lift some luggage packing for the wintertime, and it almost cost him an opportunity to win the National League batting title. I'll tell you, if you're going to make that much money, you might as well hire somebody to do those types of things. If you're going to slice a grapefruit, get somebody to do it for you if you're making $2 million a year, right?
Have it catered, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Keith Hernandez is on deck. The count on Mitchell, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bounce to the shortstop, Reynolds. Nice easy bounce for Craig, and he throws him out 2 down. Keith Hernandez. And so there's leadership in a lot of places on this New York Met ball club. If you want to single out one man, you're looking at it. the bell count.
Well, the intensity that Hernandez brings to this club was at a type of intensity that this ball club simply did not have before he arrived and has had since he arrived.
He was a thundercloud the other night in his disagreement over the call strike with Doug Harvey. Knepper comes inside for ball one. Gary Carter, number 4 hitter, waiting on deck. It's 2-0. Houston getting 2 runs off Darling in the top of this inning. That'll get a corner, and it's 1-1. He's got just enough movement in his delivery, natural delivery. Gives you a little bit of that look coming from first base side, and it's tough on the left end.
He's going to try to get Hernandez out inside.
That ball is hit to Davis. Davis will do it himself. And so Knepper gets the New York Mets in order in the bottom of the first inning, and after 1 inning of play at Shea Stadium, it's 1-0 Houston. 2-0.
Your attention, please.
Hello. To help you to remember to ask for the Bartles & James Premium Wine Cooler, Ed has invented some memory aids. When you enter a bar, think of bartender. When you think of bartender, remember Bartol's. When you say Bartol's, think of Bartol's. Then say, bartender, give me a bottle of Bartles & James. This may take some work, but it is well worth the trouble. So please remember Ed's memory aids, and we thank you for your support.
Once upon a time, millions of us roamed the bathrooms of America.
We're bull shavers, convinced we had to use shavers with all kinds of expensive extras.
But we don't pay an arm and a hoof anymore, 'cause us bull shavers are becoming
Bic shavers. Bic gives us an extraordinary shave at an extraordinary price, without bells or whistles. To pay more makes you, well, bullheaded. Try the Bic for normal or sensitive skin, and you too will have a beat.
With bull shaving.
You might be able to make it on your old antifreeze another year, but then again, you just might find yourself left out in the cold. Driving just 10,000 miles on weak, neglected antifreeze can cause freeze-up and make a radiator look this bad, while the Prestone radiator looks this good. So, for maximum protection, don't push your luck. Change it once a year, every year, with fresh Prestone.
But Ethel, oh, wait a minute, honey bunch. Yeah, I know I was going to see you downtown, but I got to meet Ricky. All right, I might as well tell you the truth. I'm going to the ball game. You want to go too? Oh, boy. It's a wonderful game. It's a game for the whole family. So let's all forget our worries and have fun at the ball game whenever we can get to one. What do you say? Let's go.
The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
Astros scoring twice in the top of the first inning on 3 base hits and a stolen base by Hatcher, figured very prominently in the 2 runs. Now we go to the bottom third of the order for Alan Ashby, Craig Reynolds, and the pitcher Bob Knepper. Ron Darling pitching with a record of 15-6 on the season with a 2.8 earned run average, 1-1 versus the Astros in 4 starts in the past season.
Well, Ron Darling is going along a familiar and dangerous path of falling behind the hitters.
2-1 now to Alan Ashby.
One of the big reasons that Davey Johnson and Ron Darling have had a, I guess you could call it a quasi-feud going on this season, is because Darling upsets Davey Johnson when he's working because he falls behind a lot of hitters. Davey channels it and funnels it right through pitching coach Mel Stottlemyre.
Bouncing ball for Tuffle, and his first play in the series results in a put out at first base on Ashby. That'll bring up Craig Reynolds.
Number 12, shortstop, Craig Reynolds.
Reynolds was 2 for 3 in the opening game against Dwight Gooden. Native son of Houston, stayed at home and is having his career there. Very popular in Houston.
And one of 2 Astros that have played on the All-Star team in both leagues. The other, Phil Garner.
Curve is in low. I can see why David Johnson would have a bit of a nervous stomach sometimes with Darling constantly being behind, and he has been so far in this game.
The results are often good, but it's getting to those results that give managers bad stomachs.
He's now behind 2 balls and no strikes. That might have been ball 3, except Reynolds took a whack at it and fouled it away. There's ball 3, 3-1 now, with 1 out for the Houston shortstop. Ball 4. So he's hit a man, and now he has walked a man. He has been touched for 3 hits. Hernandez to the mound to talk to it. And Knepper coming to the plate.
Houston.
He also has had a wild pitch in the ball game.
Keith Hernandez going to talk to Darling, and he told him one of 3 things. Give me a chance to charge, count 1,001 and throw home. Or I'll charge and then come back to the bag. And the third thing, when I charge, step off. And the last 2 is to prevent that runner from running. So evidently it was he took 1 step forward, held his ground, and he threw over there.
Knepper turns to bunt, puts it down, and it's foul at the plate.
See, the good base runners will break when Hernandez breaks, but Hernandez, after every bunt attempt, will go out and talk to his pitcher and tell him the one of 3 things. If you don't have something to combat or defense against, then the runner will take off with Hernandez and go ahead and steal second. You won't need the bunt.
Hernandez comes, Reynolds goes, pitch is swung on, and a fly ball lifted out into short left field for Kevin Mitchell. And you got 2 down as Reynolds comes back to first base.
And you saw Craig Reynolds, even though that was the hit and run play, you saw Craig Reynolds take off when Keith Hernandez took off.
Second baseman, Bill Doran.
That Charlie Kerfeld up there? Or? Charlie and Larry Anderson have the conehead mask that they wear. Never know where they might turn up.
Bill Doran, top of the order now, up for the 2nd time. Grounded out to first base, his first time up. And he hits the ball well. Going deep to right center field. It's gone. A 2-run home run by Bill Doran, and it's 4-0 Houston.
Frankie Frisch embedded in baseball people's mind that cliche and saying a long time ago, oh, those bases on balls.
He got all of this one.
Sometimes a walk is better than what happened here, but a walk led to the home run by Doran. He was looking for a fastball and hit it a ton.
Hatcher drills one to left field. And Mitchell picks it up, runs it back in, and so the Astros are jumping all over Ron Darling here early on. And Mel Stottlemyre is quickly out of the dugout on his way to the mound for the Mets.
A fastball on the slight outer part of the plate, just off the middle of the plate, and Bill Doran looking for it all the way, hits it to right center. Not to return.
5 hits now off Ron Darling. And a 4-0 lead for Houston. So the Astro bats that were silenced by Ojeda,
they have already doubled their run production
for the first 2 games.
Yeah, in 1 2/3 innings of their first 2 ball games.
Danny Walling, who singled his first time up, a looper to right, advanced to second on a wild pitch, and then scored on Jose Cruz single. Harder throw to first base. Watching Hatcher, first time up. Billy had a single and then stole second base. Creeping off. And the pitch is outside. Ball 1. Aguilera, Rick Aguilera, is up now in the New York Mets bullpen, loosening up. He may get an early call. This fellow right here, Walling, delivers one more hit. I would imagine things will be. He normally is a starter, and starters hate to come in the middle of an inning. Darling playing catch now with Hernandez, possibly with the intent of slowing the pace a bit. Runner goes. Carter's throw. Hatcher's 2 for 2. He beat Darling on that stolen base.
And watch Denny Walling take this pitch. Watch how he kind of leans out over the plate. He's taking all the way, and he leans out over the plate, thereby impeding with the throw of Gary Carter. If you have no intent to swing the bat, Hatcher is safe. But I've often contended that that is interference on the part of the hitter. You never get the call if you're a catcher. He was taking that pitch all the way, and there was no reason to duck into Carter the way he did.
That's a prejudiced comment from a catcher.
It could be.
Walling swings and misses and strikes out to end the inning. But the Houston Astros get 2 more, and after an inning and a half, in Game 3, they lead 4-0.
Big parade this year.
It's the economy.
Oh, Russell, I have a question. What kind of motor oil are you using?
Motor oil is motor oil.
Uh-huh.
Motor oil definitely is not motor oil. The 4-cylinder engine works harder and needs the extra protection of specially formulated Valvoline 4-guard.
Oh, Russell.
Not much of a parade this year.
It's the economy.
Get Valvoline 4-guard.
Russell.
You have to draw the line someplace. Then cross over it. That's how new ideas start. How new worlds open up. Technology from a company called TRW helps chart new worlds. Today we draw the line where it has never been before. Tomorrow we'll cross over it. Tomorrow is taking shape at a company called TRW.
The parents of these kids have very different jobs, but when Dean Witter helps manage their investments, they're all treated the same. Special.
Everybody is somebody, a Dean Witter.
A member of the Sears Financial Network.
Slide! Yes! Yes! Oh, I love baseball. I'm so glad to get to watch the World Series.
This isn't the World Series. These are the playoffs.
Well, of course they are. Don't be ridiculous. What are playoffs?
After each team plays 162 games, the best teams play to decide who goes to the World Series.
162 games?
Right.
How do they get time off from their jobs?
Don't miss our show, Perfect Strangers. Wednesday nights, followed by Howard Hessman in Head of the Class.
Middle of the order scheduled for the Mets now. In the bottom of the second inning, they trail 4-0. Gary Carter, Darryl Strawberry, and Ray Knight. Carter has 1 hit and 9 trips to the plate in the previous 2 games. Bouncing ball to the shortstop, Reynolds, and 1 down. Yogi got as big a cheer almost as anybody when he was introduced, even though he is a coach with the visiting team. Of course, Yogi Berra is cheered everywhere he goes in New York City.
And if the Astros win this playoff series, Yogi will be going to his 22nd World Series.
Darryl Strawberry at the plate with 1 out and nobody on. And Strawberry is often victimized by left-handers. And he starts out taking a pitch high for ball 1. You can see that he has not damaged Bob Knepper this season. That ball is way outside. 2 balls and no strikes. I asked Yogi the other day, what in the world have you done with all that money you've collected from all the playoffs and the World Series and everything? And he said, oh, no, I'll give it to Carmen. Carmen, his wife, of course.
Carmen's handled it well, too.
Yeah. All right, Knepper, with a man at the plate who has had almost no success against him, goes to 3 balls and no strikes with 1 out. Comes in with a triple and makes it 3-1. Has 1 hit in 7 at-bats in the first 2 games and fouls back, and now it's a full count, 3 balls and 2 strikes, and there's a souvenir ricocheting down into the crowd. You better watch it around this area too, because the ball will hit the facade and come back down and plunk you. Swings and misses. He struck out on a pitch. It was out of the strike zone.
Well, that's the 5th time that Strawberry has gone down on strikes.
Number 22.
And we mentioned the other night, when you flail at a strike one-handedly, you're not swinging the bat very well. And as you see, Strawberry way out in front of that pitch. Second strikeout for Knepper.
Now Ray Knight. He had a hard time in the ball game against Mike Scott. Of course, a lot of folks did. That's where he got his 3 Ks.
A lot of folks would have, too, with bats in their hands.
That is a sharp shot to left field, and the Mets have their first base hit of the ball game. Knepper got it up over the plate. Knight nailed it. And it brings up Tim Tuffle.
Mets, the second baseman.
Tuffle on the year had a 247 average, 4 home runs, and 31 runs batted in. Say what?
You got me. I'm not going to comment on that.
Ray Knight on first with 2 out now. First base runner for New York, and Knepper falling behind Strawberry 3-0 got him. Knight jumped on the first pitch, and now Tuffle is up, and he takes low, ball 1. Tuffle came over from Minnesota. Winter trade. That ball is hit to the second baseman, Doran, who flips it over to Reynolds, the shortstop, forcing Knight coming down, and the Mets are turned away. But at least they have a base hit now in their scorebook. So after 2, it is 4-0 Houston.
Look, there's a woman playing. That's Laura Nelson, head of their sales department. That makes her a ball player? That makes her part of the team. She's really on the ball. But can she hit one?
She told me about these IBM computers she installed, called System 36s.
Strike 1. I told you.
They come in different sizes for most any kind of business. She put IBM personal computers on everyone's desk, tied them into the System 36, and the place is running smooth as silk.
Strike 2.
She can check inventories, track deliveries.
Can she keep track of the ball?
She made the most of IBM's computers and software. And she made the most of that pitch. It's a double. It's a triple.
It's beginner's luck.
The art of investment and financial security requires painstaking preparation, bold strokes influenced by a mastery of expertise, a creative approach to IRAs, annuities, and innovative forms of insurance. As one of the strongest diversified financial institutions, we have the capabilities to turn the business of investment into an art. The Travelers. Have you looked under the Travelers umbrella lately?
The muffler shop, the transmission shop, the tune-up shop. None of them has this total car specialist, Mr. Goodwrench. Whatever's happening with your GM car, he can fix. Because he has more than just a shop, it's like a laboratory, equipped to diagnose any system in any GM car. And he's trained to understand the total automobile, not just parts. Mr. Goodwrench, the total car specialist. No one knows your GM car better. No one.
That camera belongs to Houston's pitcher, Bob Knepper. And obviously he can't be fiddling with it today, but he's passed it off to other folks to keep recording a video history of this championship series. Take it home, edit it, and have something to show visitors.
Matter of fact, he got Mike Scott's 1-0 ball game the other night. And also the no-hitter that Mike Scott pitched to clinch the division for the Astros.
Glenn Davis, Kevin Bass, and Jose Cruz. For Houston, that's a bouncing ball. Third baseman Ray Knight, long throw, and he gets Davis.
This is a long throw.
Right fielder, Kevin Bass.
Ray stepping back. Glenn Davis does run better than a lot of people think, but Ray Knight taking his time and making a strong throw. An easy 5-3 play.
And Kevin Bass, who struck out looking his first time, is now at the plate. A 4-0 Houston lead in the top of the third inning, and Darling is on the outside corner for strike one. You can see there that Kevin has been busy at the bat in the series. And has started to hit the ball for distance. Feeble on that one, though, as Ron Darling offered him the split-fingered fastball.
Now watch the pitch go down. This is the pitch Bass was called out on his first time up. He's not going to allow Frank Pulley to make another call. He's up there hacking.
Just outside to make it 2-2. The feeling is that Bass probably is capable of 20-25 home runs a year. At least they're hoping so. Close, but it's 3-2.
What an advantage it is for a hitter not to have to bail out. Imagine Pete Rose, over 14,000 at bats in his career, never bailed out.
Bass, patient, works Darling for a base on ball. That's his second in the ball game, and he's hit a man. And now he'll be pitching to Jose Cruz, who singled into the hole in left his first time up. One out. Top of the third. Bass pretty quick on the bases.
22 stolen bases on the year. 13 times he was caught.
Cruz losing his hat as he went all the way with that swing.
Jose Cruz rarely gets cheated. If I were Hal Lanier right now, it'd be a good idea to send Kevin Bass. You've got a team that's down. You are in a position to play much more aggressive baseball.
Again, in case you missed the temperature, it was 52 degrees when we started the ball game. The wind continues to blow seemingly in from center field, but it did not deter Doran's home run. He just nailed it in right center. And that pitch is just outside and away. And ball one. Strike one.
Willie Mays told me one time that this was the toughest center field to play in the National League. And remember, he played most of his games at Candlestick. And the reason that it's tough to play is because of that swirling wind in center field.
A little closer that time. He lobbed one and then fired one. Matt Galante is the first base coach for Houston. Dennis Mankey at third. 1-1 no. Goes back to first base again. So Darling is selling Bass on the idea don't go. It's 1-2.
That was a good sequence there. Darling threw to first base 3 times and then barely came to a stop and threw home. There are a lot of ways to deter the runner at first base from running. One is to hold the ball an inordinately long amount of time. The other is to quick pitch.
Foul back. Bass really has shown no intent, real intent to go yet. His leads have been moderate.
Of course, you do have Jose Cruz. That's the other side of the picture, or as Paul Harvey would say, the rest of the story. Left-handed pull hitter up there. Right side open. The hole's open.
Aguilera continues to throw in the New York bullpen. You see the hole on the right side of the infield, affected by the fact the first baseman has to hold him, hold the base runner. That's a foul ball on the right side. It's Tony. Darling.
Tony O'Reilly Darling from Ireland. Tony and Ron are expecting their first child this spring.
The 1-2 pitch to Cruz is high and away. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. The pitcher's spot is scheduled up second in the bottom of the 3rd inning, and Aguilera continues to throw out in the New York bullpen. And you obviously know that David Johnson would like Darling to get through this inning without any more damage. But you also know that David's got to be grinding pretty good in the dugout right now. Kevin Bass is the base runner, having walked 1 out. Pitch outside. Carter's throw is high. He stole it. That's 3 stolen bases. 2 by Hatcher. 1 now by Bass. And Bass got a big jump that time.
And you see him turn on that right foot. Carter did not have a good pitch on which to throw. The first 2 times, however, he did. And Bass is in there. You notice the straight in slides. There's really no advantage to hooking in the second base when you're trying to steal second.
Now Cruz 3-2. He struck out. He went too far. Frank Pulley called him out right away. He tried to check on it. The pitch was outside, but he had gone through the strike zone with his bat, and you've got 2 down. That's the 3rd strikeout for Darling, and brings to the plate Alan Ashby. Again, the long stroke costing a hitter. could not check it once he'd started it. And Ashby bounces the ball to Santana at short, throws him out, and Houston strands Kevin Bass. So in the middle of the third inning, game number 3 of the National League Championship Series, it's 4-0 Houston. We'll be back after this commercial message and a word from your local station.
This is where it begins. Anywhere there's moisture, there's the chance of catching athlete's foot. This is where it ends. Mycotin. Only Mycotin cures athlete's foot with myconazole, a medically proven ingredient that eliminates athlete's foot. This is where athlete's foot begins. This is where it ends. Mycotin, the end of athlete's foot.
Listen to the heartbeat of America. Listen to the heartbeat.
When you want to feel the thunder, put yourself in today's Chevrolet Camaro IROC Z and listen to your heartbeat.
The heartbeat of America. Dave Chevrolet.
Our world, the special times of our lives, a tapestry of what happened then with the people who were there.
If you lived through it, you'll want to see it again. If you don't remember,
find out what really happened with Ray Gandolf
and Linda Ellerby. Our world.
It's about time.
Thursday on ABC.
Make this the sweetest day she'll remember all year long. With roses. Beautiful, timeless roses from Kroger, America's largest florist. Tea roses. Colorful sweetheart roses, or surprise her with dazzling mums, a stunning assortment, or any one of dozens of fresh-cut mixed bouquets, all at the floral shop at Kroger. See the difference. Go Krogering. What better sweetest day surprise than elegant red tea roses?
Watch Sunday night following the late news here on 13.
Toughest ticket in town. Getting into Shea Stadium the next 3 days. Rafael Santana, Ron Darling the pitcher, and Mookie Wilson. 3 scheduled hitters, and Darling is out in the on-deck circle, and Knepper comes with a pitch to the outside corner for a call strike on Santana.
Toughest ticket in town for me was getting me up in one of those blimps. I'll tell you. No way.
1-1. Aguilera now has gone quiet in the New York bullpen. So I guess David Johnson and Mel Stottlemyre have decided they're going to stay with Darling for a while. Hard shot for the shortstop. Reynolds handles it well. Throws it low, but Davis digs it out.
Here's the next pitcher.
A lot of dogs going to be sold today. Pitcher Ron Darling comes to the plate. 81 at-bats, 8 hits, a pair of doubles on the season for him. Slowly in, but good for a strike. Darling majored in French and Southeast Asian history at Yale. His wife speaks a couple of languages, and I understand he's talking about going into studying Chinese language.
And he's also studying Russian this winter at New York University, so they have a corner on the language market.
Little tap. Knepper off the mound, handles it all right, and throws him out. 2 down.
So far today, however, Ronnie's probably wishing that he had a little more English on some of his pitches.
I guess you could talk in whatever language that fitted your feelings on a particular morning, huh?
Right.
Cincinnati jumps out to a 7-0 lead over Penn State. Bit of a surprise, but it's early on. Coming up after our baseball game, some of you will see Miami, Florida, top ranked in the country at West Virginia, or the Texas-Oklahoma shootout at the Cotton Bowl in Dallas. Here's Mookie Wilson, the top of the order. Mookie struck out swinging his first time up and takes a strike from Knepper. Cincinnati Bearcats are not that bad a football team. You can't go to sleep against them. They'll jump you. Strike 2 on Wilson. Mitchell on deck. Houston leading 4-0. The Mets starting their second time around against Knepper, and that pitch just misses 1-2. They jumped Ryan the other night. They got Nolan Ryan the second time around.
Scored 2 in the 4th and 3 in the 5th.
That's foul. And that woke him up in camera row down the left side because it was a dart. They've added some seats on both first and third base sides, which has shortened up the foul territory around the dugouts, down the line, and toward the backstop. That's another foul, but Mookie's generous. He goes the other way with that souvenir.
And that could be a problem as far as first baseman and third baseman are concerned on foul balls. About 10 feet taken away.
That's foul into the dugout on the Astros side.
And of course those seats were installed because they're seats. More money.
Yep.
And with the change of venue from Houston to New York, I guess you could add a new term, the change of revenue.
Finally got that in.
Yeah.
Pulled a string on it, and Wilson stings it to left. Jose Cruz getting a good break on the ball, runs it down, and the side is retired in order in the bottom of the third. So after 3, the Houston Astros lead the New York Mets 4-0.
This ABC Sports exclusive is being brought to you by Valvoline Motor Oil, where motor oil is not just motor oil.
We're not a company, but we recognize potential. We develop it. We use it. We'll make sure that as your responsibility grows, so will you. As your ability for leadership grows, so will you. Working with us, you'll gain self-confidence, become a person with a future. We're not a company. We're your country. We're the Marines, the Army, the Navy, the Air Force. We're the Armed Forces. It's a great place to start.
Time's running out to play McDonald's NFL Kickoff Payoff.
Oh, no! But I just got started!
Less than 2 weeks left to collect your favorite NFL player trading cards.
It's not enough time!
Less than 2 weeks left to play and win great McDonald's food prizes.
Then let's get going, guys! Come on!
So hurry in to redeem last week's cards and collect more.
McDonald's! Wait for me!
You know, the weirdest things happened to me, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark. I mean, here I am stocking up for Halloween. I got my steak, got my ribs. Then when I asked the stock boy where the Coors Light is stacked, he points me to the Coors and Coors Light Halloween display, and I'm on it. Whoa, it's like deja vu. Whoa, it's like deja vu. Look for it where you buy beer. I shop here because they slash prices. There goes another one. Happy Halloween, darling.
We noted before the ball game that Houston hadn't done a whole lot having leadoff men aboard, and Tim McCarver asked Hal Lanier if it had been a bother to him.
Well, it does, Tim, especially, only getting 2 runs in the first 2 ball games. I guess, we're very fortunate to win the first game because of the outstanding outing that Mike had against Gooden. And, when you don't get any runs, of course, you're not going to win many ball games, and this is what we have to do starting today. When we get people on base, we just have to get that key hit.
And they have done it, and he has sent them, and they lead 4-0, and we go to the top of the 4th inning for Craig Reynolds, Bob Knepper, and Bill Doran. And first pitch hitting, fouls it away to the left side, and that's back in the crowd. Reynolds' first time up today, he walked and was aboard when Bill Doran hit the home run.
And the Met outfield playing very, very deep for the 8th place hitter. Craig Reynolds with 6 home runs this year, but you can see Kevin Mitchell in left field very deep and Mookie Wilson in another time zone in center. You can understand the pull position because when a player pulls the ball, he's using all of his body with which to hit. However, when he hits the ball the other way or to center field, he's using more of his arms, just his arms. He doesn't complement his power with his body. That's why you shouldn't play him as deep the opposite field. In this particular case, left field.
That split-fingered fastball dropped. There's Dwight Gooden, who pitched the opening game for the Mets. Struggled some, but still kept his ball club right in it. Losing 1-0. 1-2 pitch now to Craig Reynolds. We've got a balloon floating around in the outfield. They continue, and Darling goes outside. Knepper is in the on-deck circle. There's your balloon flopping around. In the case of Mitchell and Wilson, both, though, they like to charge the ball.
Well, that's true. Obviously, you're better coming in on a ball than you are going back on a ball, but there's got to be an area where you can do both. You can't play too deep just to give yourself an added advantage of coming in on 2 balls because you're going to be 5 or 6 steps too deep. Everybody likes to come in on the ball, and it's easier to come in than go back. But they are entirely too deep.
Well, academically struck him out. And now the pitcher, Knepper, will come to the plate. If it's 52 degrees today, it's liable to be in the 40s tomorrow night when we play the ball game.
And we can't wait, right?
Right. Well, the hand warmers are a little easier to handle these days. They got that chemical stuff now. You can break it up, stick it in your pocket. You don't have to take that hot thing out there. Darling looking a little better in this inning as he's finding the corners now, and he hits one there for a called strike on Knepper. That's low.
Both of these pitchers, very interesting guys. We talked about the multi-linguistic ability of Darling. Bob Knepper, also a very interesting guy, an opera buff. Favorite singers are Pavarotti and Mario Lanza.
One and 2.
That he does not listen to the Grand Opera before ball games because he gets too emotional. I would think that'd be the time you'd want to listen to it.
Well, a little Die Goethe Dämmerung wouldn't hurt you, but I mean, seems to me if you were going to listen, you'd listen to the Riot of the Valkyries, a little Wagner, and get you all stirred up, you know, and away you go, huh?
Right. I think I followed that. Jim Lampley's line about Northwestern and Duke playing in the SAT Bowl about a month ago. Maybe these are SAT matchups today, huh?
1 ball and 2 strikes to Bob Knepper. And it's 2 and 2. Struck out 2 in a row. He now has 5 in the ball game. And here's the man who took him deep last time, Bill Doran, the second baseman.
Second baseman, Bill Doran.
Here's the home run Bill hit in the second inning off Darling. He's sitting on fastball, got it over the plate. Hit it in the parking lot.
Jerry Kuzman and Tommy Agee to Jerry's left. They will be throwing out the ball on Monday afternoon. Tug McGraw will be throwing out the ball tomorrow afternoon or tomorrow evening.
2 balls and no strikes on Bill Doran. There's one. To the shortstop, Santana. Doran runs well, but Santana guns him down. And so Darling gets the Astros in order in the top of the fourth. And after 3.5 innings of play, the Astros lead the Mets 4-0.
IBM presents You Make the Call. With 1 out and a runner on first, the batter hits what appears to be a routine double play ball. But look, the runner slides directly over the bag and into the fielder. Is the batter out too? You make the call.
Taking your business on the road can be a cumbersome task, and productivity can easily fall off. Presenting the IBM PC Convertible, a powerful personal computer that easily converts to a full-function portable. One you can use in a train, a plane, a car, or a meeting, and be as productive on the road as you are at the office. The IBM PC Convertible. One computer for people who really need two.
Even if a runner slides directly over the bag, it's still interference if he goes out of his way to intentionally break up a double play. So if you said the batter was out too, then you made the right call.
This is the car, the number 9 Ford Thunderbird, Bill Elliott's race car. This is Bill Elliott's motor oil, Unical 76. It's won every Grand National race he's won. It's the same oil you can buy for your car at 76 stations. And this is Bill Elliott.
Ready, boys? Go with the spirit.
Try Bill's motor oil.
Spirit of 76.
Tuesday.
Okay, boys, here we go.
Are you looking for a little touch of class?
Come on, it's in my bedroom.
Maddie's bedroom, the final frontier.
Well, knock yourself out.
For future reference, I really like this.
Fine, you can borrow it any time.
Try moonlighting. Then,
We made a deal. If ever we're going to have a huge fight, we do it naked.
new rules for a modern marriage.
Now, you going to take your clothes off or not?
On Jack and Mike, right after Moonlighting. Tuesday.
The Honorable Robert Wagner, he was the mayor when the plans were laid down and construction started and eventuated into what we have now, Shea Stadium. So he was the mayor of New York City when the whole thing was being put together. And he's here today watching the ball game. And the home folks will send up Kevin Mitchell, Keith Hernandez, and Gary Carter. And Mitchell stings it to center. But Hatcher is right there for the catch. Keith Hernandez now, who bounced out to the first baseman unassisted his first time.
I'll tell you, Keith, the tempo of the crowd has picked up somewhat here in the 4th inning, but the Astros did exactly what they hoped to do.
Take them out of it.
That's right. When you score early, you take the home crowd out of it. The Mets fans kind of shocked, just like the players appeared to have been.
A little bit like Ojeda took the Houston crowd out of it in game number 2. Hernandez up, Carter on deck, and it is confirmed now, at least the word out of the press box is that Mike Scott has now been named to start tomorrow night's ball game for the Houston Astros. Knepper starts Hernandez with a strike on the inside corner. There's a lot of conversation you can build around the start of Scott tomorrow night as Knepper delivers, and Hernandez hits the ball into left center field, drops for a base hit. Cruz blocks it, whips it back in, and holds it. The ball gets loose in the infield, but Knepper picks it up. So Keith Hernandez is aboard. That is only the second hit in the ball game for the New York Mets. But here comes Gary Carter.
Well, a pretty good curveball by Bob Knepper. And then you see Hatcher running in front of Cruz. But Hernandez has to stay at first base. When you're 4 runs down, you just can't take that chance.
And there's power at the plate in Carter. one double in the series. Knepper is outside and low to Carter for ball one.
This is a situation where Bob Knepper will start turning the ball over on the outside part of the plate to try to induce Carter to hit the ball to the left side. Knepper always up among the leaders in double play.
And Gary just nips it with the end of the bat. That is 1-1. Strawberry is on deck. If Houston should win this ball game, then starting Scott tomorrow night in the hopes that they could come out of here with 2 wins, they'd be in the catbird seat going home. Ball is hit to the right side, and Bass going back. Wynn grabs it a little bit, but he plays it well. And the throw back in, a strong throw, but Hernandez hustling gets back to first base. And now Strawberry. The wind in that instance appears to indeed be coming in a bit because it turned it some.
Hernandez goes all the way to second base, returns in time. That ball appeared to be over the head of Bass, but it did just die. And it did appear that that wind is blowing in from right field now.
Strawberry 0 for 11 against Knepper this season. He's been struck out 6 times, and he struck out the first time. Put this one on the ground, and the throw by Ashby is too late. Beats it out. So Strawberry unable to hit the ball for the base hit, dropped a soft little bunt. And Ashby hustling out, just simply couldn't run him down.
The thing to watch for with first base umpire Dutch Rennert is his right hand. He goes to punch him out, and the out sign becomes the safe sign. Right. He had that thumb curled up under. He wanted to punch him out, but then the safe. He did appear to be safe.
Give you an idea, though, of how those long legs can move along for Strawberry. And now Ray Knight. Hernandez up at second base. Far and away the biggest threat the Mets have offered so far today. 4-0 Houston. Mets now have 3 hits off Knepper. Ball bouncing away from Ashby, but he recovers quickly. Runners are held. Knight, first time up today, had a base hit. And then was forced at second base for a 3rd out. Got back in the 2nd inning. You see, too, that Ray has had a goodly amount of success against Knepper in his career. Change of speed, misses inside. 2 balls and no strikes tonight.
Talk about the looks of a guy who's trying to zero a pitcher in. He just stares seemingly through the bat right at Bob Knepper.
Strike call. Hernandez on second. Strawberry at first. Knight swings and misses, and it's 2-2. Tough pitch there.
And the ability of throwing the breaking ball behind in the count can't be emphasized too much. If major league hitters are allowed just to sit on one pitch, they're eventually going to get you. That was a good 2-1 curveball there tonight.
right side, Bass angles over and makes the catch. And so the Mets are turned away, stranding 2, and after 4-0 Houston.
Now here's your burger, and
sometimes breaks can give you a gentle hint that they need a little work.
Take it to Midas. Over 4 million people have trusted their brakes to Midas. Good price, good guarantee. We won't break you.
Whoops.
Take it to Midas.
Whoops. Huh?
Take it to someone you trust.
What's happening? The world-famous MetLife representative is adding new recruits to his prompt payment squadron. You mean the one that makes sure MetLife claim checks get delivered promptly? Yes, it's very important. Snoopy is really getting tough with his new recruits, isn't he? Only the best will do for MetLife customers. What happens to the birds who don't make it into the prompt payment squadron? They go into advertising. Get Met. It pays.
Say, these must be Jack's new Canon personal copiers. Great color.
Yeah, and they copy in 5. You want to see?
Go ahead. Make my day.
Everything you need to copy with is in this replaceable cartridge.
I'll do that.
Good thing Canon has PCs for every personality, even pushy agents.
Lighten up, Jack.
These new Canon personal copiers are light. Put one in my car.
What a guy.
Personal copiers for every personality. For information, call toll-free 1-800-OK-CANON.
Set your sights on the best in baseball. Order the 1986 World Series program. There are more than 100 pages of articles and photographs making the World Series program a real collector's item. Send $6 check or money order to World Series Program, P.O. Box 4686, Trenton, New Jersey, 08651. P.O. Box 4686, Trenton, New Jersey, 08651. Include your proper return address. The preceding message was furnished by Major League Baseball.
Game 4 of the American League Championship Series tonight at 8 Eastern Time here on ABC. Roger Clemens for the Red Sox and Don Sutton for the California Angels. Angels won an exciting ball game last night. Al Michaels and Jim Palmer out of the West. They had a fun team to work with last night.
They surely did.
Billy Hatcher, Denny Walling, and Glenn Davis are the scheduled hitters for the Astros as they lead 4-0 here at Shea Stadium against Ron Darling. It has been confirmed now, as we said earlier, that Mike Scott is the scheduled pitcher for Game 4 for Houston, and he'll be going against Sid Fernandez, the big left-hander for the Mets. And Al Lanier making his decision after talking to Mike Scott to go ahead and let him go. Hatcher hits a high pop. That wind's got a hold of it a little bit and drifting it back. And great catch, a great play by Knight. He's in the dugout. Astros help him a little bit. And he couldn't hold it as the ball hit his glove just as he went tumbling into the dugout. But a great try by Ray.
The manager of the California Angels, Gene Mock, had this rule changed about 20 years ago. If Ray Knight had come down with that ball and the visiting team helps him, and in the process he drops the ball, the batter's out. Gene Mock knocked it out of Jerry Grote's hands. Jerry, the catcher for the New York Mets at Veterans Stadium, not Veterans Stadium, Connie Mack Stadium in Philadelphia.
Hopper back to the mound. Darling handles it and throws out Billy Hatcher.
It used to be if you catch a ball and go into the dugout, anything goes. You could actually whack it out of the guy's hand because technically that was their dugout. But Gene Mock had that changed when he dislodged the ball from Jerry Grote, and they changed the rule after that 66 season.
Denny Walling is now up for Houston with one out. To the second baseman, Tuffle, 2 down. I remember Earl Batty of the Minnesota Twins. There's Mike Scott, the pitcher for tomorrow night's game. Remember the time at Dodger Stadium when he ran into the dugout trying to make a play and caught himself right in the throat on the top of the dugout. Whoa.
That was in the 65 series against the Minnesota Twins, right? Dodgers and Twins.
Really scary moment. Glenn Davis is up now, and Ron Darling has been able to handle the big bomber of the Astros so far today. He hit him with a pitch in his first at bat in the first inning, and then got him to ground out to third his second time up. Two balls and no strikes to Davis. Well, he had his cut. Came away empty. We're at bat at the top of the fifth inning for the Houston Astros, leading 4-0. And it's 2-1 count. And 1. This is a fastball. Watch this swing. In the strike zone. Yep, beat it on the ground. Santana comes across, can't glove it. Goes over the glove and out into center, and Davis is on.
It's going to be scored as the first hit for the Astros since the second inning. Santana with the count 3-1, since the hitter will or is more prone to pull the ball in that situation, had to play him over in the hole. Thereby, what would normally be a routine ball takes a short hop and caroms into center field. A base hit for Glenn Davis.
And it brings up Kevin Bass, who is struck out looking and walked. Outside corner. Foul ball left side. You really think he's going to keep your shoes?
Yeah, I do. Shoe trees and all. I didn't tell him that I've been trying to get rid of those shoes for about a year. Nobody thinks.
1 ball, 2 strike count on Kevin Bass. Fouled into the Astro dugout. Davis at first base comes back. What do you figure about 10 feet they gave up in foul ground? This new seat on each side.
Looks like about 700 to 1,000 people added. Prime seating, and they do have the glass up in front of the customers down there, because that ball does get back there in a hurry to prevent injury. There you are.
1-2 pitch to Bass, popped up, coming back, it's out of play. He's in a defensive posture now at 1-2.
He has really been taking a lot of defensive swings. He struck out his first time on a called split finger fastball for a strike, and then walked on a 3-2 pitch his next time up.
Or 6-0 for the Astros. 0-3-0 for the Mets. The line at the moment. Ball is hit sharply toward the corner in right. Strawberry going. Fine catch. Bounces off the wall and comes away with it. So Darryl Strawberry turns in a fine play in the corner in right field to retire the side. The Astros strand Glenn Davis. They have left 4 on, but they lead in the ball game.
world-famous Clydesdales. A symbol of Budweiser's long tradition of quality, the finest ingredients, beechwood aging, and a special touch of care and pride. No other brewer has such a tradition of quality to live up to. But then, no other brewer makes the king of beers. After all, this Bud's for you. When we want to work up a sweat, nothing works like this full-size Chevy pickup.
Got the muscle of a fuel-injected 350 V8. And it's available in every full-size Chevy. It's got the strength of girder main front suspension. Where? Oh, there. Plus, double-wall construction. So, when you need a tough-working partner,
Nothing works like a Chevy truck.
nothing.
Yeah? Yeah.
Right?
A double pleasure's waiting for you. A double pleasure from Double Mint Gum. A double great feeling, making you realize double is the one for you. Double fresh, double smooth, double delicious to chew. A double pleasure is waiting for you. Double Mint Gum. A double pleasure is waiting for you. Double Mint Gum. Kmart, we're your neighbor and America's favorite store.
The understanding between the American farmer and the things he owns is very simple. They're expected to do the same thing he does, to work hard, day in, day out. He's the kind of customer our Motivator 650 by Delco Remy was built for, and it's the kind of value that's made us what we are today.
America's favorite store.
Kmart, the saving place.
Well, one of your great salesmen for this city, Mariette Koch, there holding the banner, rooting for the home team. Sun now is out quite bright and undoubtedly warming things up just a bit. As we go to the bottom of the fifth inning for the Mets, Tim Tuffle, Rafael Santana, and Ron Darling. Darling has now thrown 93 pitches, and Aguilera is up in the pen again for the New York Mets. So if they get something going here, it's possible that you could get a pinch hitter and a pitching change. Let's wait and see, because Darling has settled down. Bob Knepper is out there right now working to Tuffle, and he's got a count of 1-1 as he hits the outside corner. Tuffle had a fielder's choice his first time. There's Rick Aguilera. Played his college baseball at Brigham Young University. Foul ball.
On the banner that Mayor Koch held up, I couldn't help but see that apple on that banner, and the wager between the two governors is rather interesting this year. Governor Mario Cuomo will wager apples and cheese, and Governor Mark White, governor of Texas, will wager barbecue. Now to up that wager, this is big time, you know? That's not a big wager, is it, Keith?
Texas barbecue's pretty good.
Yeah, okay.
Depends on where they pick the apples. Popped up. And the shortstop Reynolds will handle it. And you've got one down. New York apples, though, when they're picked fresh.
Oh, yeah.
Crisp. Marvelous. But Texas barbecue is legendary.
Shortstop, Rafael Santana.
Right now, they have 3 hits off Bob Knepper, and they trail in the ball game 4-0. Santana at the plate. Lee Mazzilli is out swinging a bat now, and apparently is going to bat for the pitcher, Darling. And Knepper starts Santana with a curveball strike. Pops him up. Ashby coming back, but the wind blows it away, and it goes into the crowd.
Can't say enough about the job that Alan Ashby does with this Houston pitching staff. We mentioned the other night that Mike Scott, with that split finger fastball, a very difficult pitch to handle, and Ashby has allowed only 3 wild pitches. from Scott this year. "20 shutouts for Houston this year. Certainly Ashby should share in the credit."
Brought that one in by the whiskers. And it's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Well, after a couple of breaking balls, this is just big league pitching. You've got to do this. You've got to pitch inside to be successful.
Walling knocked it down at third, throws high, but Davis handles it and comes down on the bag for out number 2.
Your attention, please.
Denny Walling almost handcuffed by that shot. Kept it in the territory, and with a good long, strong throw, got him.
Yeah, when a ball's hit this sharply, you have the luxury of maybe booting a ball if you get back to it in a hurry. But Walling does throw it high, but Glenn Davis saves the error.
It was a rainbow. Lee Mazzilli making his second appearance in the series as a pinch hitter. Struck out down in Houston, but he nails this one up the middle for a base hit. And we will have a new pitcher for the Mets in the top of the 6th inning. Aguilera has been warming up now for some time, and the Mets now bring up Mookie Wilson, the top of the order against Knepper. 2 out, and Mazzilli on first. Wilson last time up hit the ball sharply, but Jose Cruz had him played well and made the moving catch. Foul ball. but Jose Cruz had him played well and made the moving catch. Foul ball. Strike one. There's Manhattan and the city surrounding it. Tall spire, of course, the Empire State Building. I remember when that was the tallest building in the city.
Before the World Trade Centers, huh?
Yeah. Not anymore. The strike one pitch to Wilson. Mazzilli at first, Davis holding. And it's up and away. 1-1. Ashby knocks it down. Mazzilli takes off. The throw. He's in there. Ball rolled about 6 feet, 8 feet behind Ashby. Mazzilli, sensing opportunity, took off, and he made it.
Alan Ashby couldn't find this ball. Watch. The little hesitation right there allowed Mazzilli to alertly go to second base. A good base running play by Lee Mazzilli.
Has a chance to deliver Mazzilli from second base with 2 out. That's a pass ball charged to Ashby. Second baseman Doran flags it down. Sounded like Mookie broke his bat and didn't have a whole lot on it. So the side's retired. The Mets are turned away. 4-0 Houston. Back after this word from your local station.
When Spencer sends a greeting,
you better be the good guys.
Everybody gets the message.
Didn't mention nothing about shotgun.
Yeah, the road racing part slipped my mind, too.
But no matter what the job,
You've got the best there is on your side.
he'll get it done.
Hold on.
Spencer, following Heart of the City 1 week from tonight.
You know some folks' idea of a sandwich? Slap some meat on some bread, smear on the mayo, bingo, you got a sandwich. Let's get serious. This is the new Hot Club Supreme from Jack in the Box. You've got hot turkey, ham, bacon, cheese on a sesame bun. Bingo!
The new Hot Club Supreme from Jack in the Box restaurants for serious sandwich eaters.
I'm talking serious.
AT&T is in the middle of all the action.
Well, chaps, if we could just find the right American firm to handle things today.
The moon were made of green cheese.
Mr. Heyman from America on 1.
Don, talk about perfect timing.
What's going on?
Let me put you on conference.
If you don't make the call, you may never know what you're missing, because nothing puts you in the middle of all the action like AT&T International Long Distance Service.
Work with you again. Sounds great. And I thought I was calling just to say hello.
AT&T, the right choice.
It's our biggest sale of the year. Fully store-wide anniversary sale. Now bigger than ever, with savings like never before. Save 25 to 75% throughout the store. Save on knitwear, activewear, daywear, kidwear, any kind of wear. Well, almost. Save on housewares, silverware, bathware, kitchenware, and soundware. It's all on sale. 25 to 75% off. It's the biggest sale of the year. Where? Foley's, of course.
Texas and Oklahoma, Saturday afternoon at 2 here on 13.
Right-hander Rick Aguilera comes on now in relief of Ron Darling in the top of the 6th inning. You see from this graphic, he was effective after the All-Star break with an ERA, earned run average, let's make it plain English, 2.76, which is pretty strong with an 8-4 record. He became a starter back in July in St. Louis, and he stayed in the rotation for the rest of the year.
He started off very badly this year. As you see, Wally Backman and tomorrow evening's pitcher Sid Fernandez in the foreground of your picture. Rick Aguilera 0-3 in his first 3 decisions. Then he was sent to the bullpen for about 8 appearances. And turned out he had the same record that he had last year, 10-7. The home run ball really jumped up and bit him early. Matter of fact, his first 15 2/3 innings this year, he allowed 8 home runs, but only 15 over the next 125 innings.
That's a bunch, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Get a crick in your neck watching that minute go out. Jose Cruz comes up to face him. Alan Ashby next, and then Craig Reynolds. He'll be pitching to 3 successive left-handers. 3 in a row. And Cruz takes it low and away. What is the repertoire of Mr. Senor Aguilera?
Fastball, a little tailing fastball, a curveball for his strikeout pitch, and a slider. That's the fastball there that will tail back over the plate on a left-handed hitter.
Jose Cruz, 39 years of age. One of the quality players in Major League Baseball. 3 balls and 1 strike now. So while Ron Darling drives Davy Johnson up the wall, falling behind hitters, lo and behold, here comes Aguilera out of the pen, and he immediately falls behind Jose Cruz. And walked him.
Houston.
CFA college football follows our baseball game. Some scores coming in now. Notre Dame over Pittsburgh 3-0 in the second quarter, and Penn State has come bouncing back now to lead Cincinnati, while Auburn is pounding away on Vanderbilt, and the Tigers are undefeated. And there's a bit of a surprise. North Carolina State had been ranked in the top 20, but Georgia Tech jumped all over them. Ashby fouls it away. Out of play. Coming up next, we'll have Miami at West Virginia, the top-rated Hurricanes, or Oklahoma, Texas, depending on what kind of part of the country you're going to be watching today. Texas-Oklahoma is going to be interesting because there's so many things swirling around that. When the Texans angry that everybody thinks Oklahoma's going to run him out of town. The story about Fred Akers being in trouble with his job. That's a bouncing ball tonight at third. Goes to second. Back to first. Double play. Hernandez had the ball in front of him and bouncing about 3 feet from him and handled it as if it had been right on the numbers. So the Mets turned the DP.
The next batter, shortstop Craig Reynolds.
Hernandez at first base with that glove is just about as good as anybody.
Yep. He saved so many errors of the Mets infielders. He just says, just get it over there any way you can, and I'll take care of it. He's very confident as a fielder. Interesting article about Keith in this week's Sports Illustrated, chronicling his life growing up in San Francisco.
Batter is the shortstop, Craig Reynolds, who has walked and scored and struck out swinging.
Not only did Keith's father, John, used to throw to him a lot, have Keith take a lot of batting practice, but he just hit him one ground ball after the other.
Two balls and no strikes to Reynolds. And no strikes. Well, the pitcher's best friend, a double play, perhaps has helped Aguilera without keep from digging himself a hole here at the top of the 6th. Inside corner with a slider.
Got a chance to see a pitcher's best friend following a pitcher's arch enemy in one inning. The walk, the arch enemy, and the double play, the friend.
2 now. The middle, sinking liner drops in front of Mookie Wilson. And Reynolds is on with base hit number 7 for Houston.
Now batting, pitcher Bob Knepper.
So with Reynolds on first, here comes Bob Knepper. Perhaps to go back to a point you made earlier, Tim, about Wilson playing deep in center.
Well, on a ball hit that, that has that much hang time, even though the ball was hit fairly well, I guess with 2 out and nobody on, you are inclined to play a little deeper. But I think the general point of the Met outfield playing too deep is certainly taken well. Mookie prefers to come in on everything. Len Dykstra plays very deep in center field. And Kevin Mitchell is inclined to play deep and left.
Knepper hits it high in the air and well, and it's Wilson going back to the track to haul it down. So Bob Knepper, who has a couple of doubles and a triple this season, rode that one well. Hit it about 370-odd feet. Houston now leads it 4-0 in the 6th.
We're not a company, but outstanding people come to us every day. People who want to make a contribution to a team and do work that really counts. People eager to see new places, do the unusual, and find the unusual. People who become your friends for life. People just like you. We're not a company. We're your country. We're the Navy, the Air Force, the Marines, the Army. We're the Armed Forces. It's a great place to start.
Who has transformed home entertainment, bringing sight and sound together with one remote. Who? RCA, with Digital Command Component Systems. A choice of components operated by one remote that deliver a sight and sound experience you must experience. Digital Command Component Systems. If you settle for less than RCA, that's exactly what you'll get.
Driving on your old antifreeze another year can be risky. Weak, neglected antifreeze can cause freeze-up and make a radiator look this bad, while the Prestone radiator looks this good. So don't push your luck, change it once a year with fresh Prestone.
Guess what thousands of doctors are recommending for women who need extra calcium? Tums. Surprised? It's true. Tums isn't just a great antacid, it's also rich in calcium.
Today, the anniversary of that 1969 World Series. The Mets, born in '62, went for the Big Apple in 1969, and it was Casey Stengel who really planted the idea of the amazing Mets.
Amazing! Amazing! It's just amazing.
Gil Hodges, of course, there as they fill the streets with confetti and saluting one of the great stories in the annals of sports. And they've got the same kind of an idea here in 1986 as the Mets and the Astros are in the National League Championship Series. All even as we play Game 3 at Shea Stadium. The Mets, trailing by a score of 4-0, will come up in the 6th inning with Kevin Mitchell, Keith Hernandez, and Gary Carter. Bob Knepper pitching for Houston, and he gets a strike call on Mitchell. Kevin hitless in 2 trips today. Snaps off inside, ball 1.
I think it's interesting to note that the Houston Astros of '86 are more like the 1969 Mets than the 1986 Mets are like the 1969 Mets. I mean, here's a team that a lot of people picked to finish 5th or 6th, possibly lose 100 games. They are riding the same crest that the Mets rode back in 1969. Hal Lanier hopes for the same results.
Two balls and a strike to Mitchell. 3-1. Knepper cocked his head a little bit. He thought he had a chance of getting that one called as he nibbled at the outside corner. As again, the ball tended to tail away from the right-handed hitter.
He does have two types of fastballs, one that will tail away from the right-hander, and the other that he runs inside to tail back over the inside part of the plate.
High chop. Walling can't get it over his head. And Mitchell takes a big turn at first and then holds on as Cruz hustled the ball back in. And so the Mets now, first time in the ball game, have the leadoff man aboard.
The one thing that stops base runners is an outfielder getting to the ball in a hurry. Watch this high chopper over the head of Walling. And Jose Cruz getting to the ball in a hurry to throw to second to hold Mitchell to a single.
Keith Hernandez with Carter now to the on-deck circle. Well, they've got the number 2 man in the order on the base. That starts the wheel spinning. Knepper is high and tight to Hernandez for ball 1.
That is also the first time this afternoon that the Mets have had their leadoff runner on. I would think he'll work Hernandez inside. The base hit he got on the curveball away his last time up. And that's how left-handed pitchers try to work Hernandez. Right-handers, too, for that matter.
Charlie Kerfeld up quickly in the Houston bullpen. Al Lanier with that 4-0 lead, quick to respond as Knepper gets in a bit of trouble here early on in the bottom of the 6th inning. Kerfeld is the setup man for Dave Smith, and the pitch is high and tight to Hernandez. And Les Moss, the pitching coach for the Houston Astros, is on his way to the mound. Charlie Kerfeld, a big, bulky right-hander from Carson City, Nevada, can heat up in a hurry, and he's got bulldog in him. So Les Moss, who has had his say now, the former catcher, cuts back to the dugout.
Usually a manager will want his pitching coach to kind of walk out there, then walk back to give the bullpenners a chance to get ready. But Les, he's in a full gait going out there and coming back.
He doesn't know any other. That's high. Ball 3. Three balls and no strikes to Hernandez. Mitchell, the leadoff man aboard, banged a bouncer over the head of Denny Walling at third for a single. There's a strike. Center fielder Hatcher shading toward left center for Hernandez, leaving Keith some room in right center, and he of course gets around on it. He's got a lot of room down the line. Day, pitchers being allowed by the umpires to blow on the hand. 3-1 pitch coming. Looper out into short center field. Hatcher can't get to it. Or drops to a base hit. Nobody out. Bottom of the 6th. Mitchell at second. Hernandez at first for Carter.
Billy Hatcher broke back on that ball, and that cost Bob Knepper an out. He took that one step back with his left foot, and by the time he recovered, the ball dropped in front of him.
Kerfeld is throwing in the Houston bullpen, and Hal Lanier just turned to Les Moss and said, check and see how hot he is. Got to look out here. There's power at the plate. Swing and a miss on a breaking pitch.
One of the reasons Knepper is allowed to stay in the game now is because Strawberry's on deck. And Strawberry, not Carter, represents a tying run. I'd much rather have the left-hander face Strawberry than a right-hander.
Carter had 24 home runs on the season. That's low. Statistics amplifying what Tim just said about Strawberry. He's 3 for 22 lifetime against Knepper. Outside, 2 balls and 1 strike.
He's trying for the double play ball. We said that Knepper, one of the top pitchers in the National League, and throwing the double play ball. Gary Carter does not run well, and he's missed with 2 of 3 sinkers on the outside. He's going back out there. You saw Ashby.
On the corner, Jeff Calhoun now is up in the Houston pen, a left-hander. Joining Kerfeld. Carter out shaking his head over the call. It's even now at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Houston leading 4-0. And the Mets are cooking right now. Mitchell at second, Hernandez at first, back-to-back singles. Bounce it toward the shortstop. Underneath the glove of Reynolds. Mitchell coming around third. He will score. Timid swing by Gary Carter, but the ball, as Reynolds came in, did not come up for him.
Watch the ball stay down. This goes under the glove of Craig Reynolds. Craig really had a lot of time. His play was to first base. Mitchell scores easily after a stumble right there. So the Mets are on the board.
It's an error against Reynolds, and Strawberry is up facing Knepper. It is now a 4-1 ball game. Strawberry hits it high in the air to right, fast to the wall. It's gone. The score is tied. Strawberry, victim more often than not against Knepper in his career. In a high fly ball. Out of here. And that error by Reynolds at shortstop haunts the Astros.
Well, you think about how this inning was set up for Strawberry. A high chopper over third, a blooping single into center, and the error by Craig Reynolds, and a new way to shake hands.
And Ray Knight is at the plate. To Walling. And he throws him out. That's the first out of the inning. 4 runs across for the Mets.
You know, the interesting thing about this whole scenario in this inning, obviously Hal Lanier, by leaving Knepper in, he wanted him to pitch to Carter. He actually gets Carter on the feeble ground ball to short, but Strawberry, the guy left him in for, hits the home run. Unbelievable.
Tuffle fouls it away for strike 1. Well, you just never know. I don't care if you've never had a hit. As long as you're up there with a bat in your hand, you're a threat.
Strawberry 3 for 22 before that home run. He did have 1 lifetime homer against Knepper.
ball and 1 strike to Tuffle. Santana is now on deck. The Mets get 4 to tie in the bottom of the 6th inning. That ball is hit hard to right. Bass going back. Wind turns it. Whoa, he makes a fine catch.
Did Kevin Bass ever make a fine catch? Talk about playing shallow the other way. The outfielders do go back very, very well. Better than they think. Well, that's a fine play by Kevin Bass.
And Santana is at the plate. 2 down now. Roger McDowell is now up in the New York bullpen, and he's throwing with purpose. That ball is hit well to left, but Cruz has an angle on it, and Jose makes the catch for the 3rd out. But it's a big one for the Mets as they come up with 4, and after 6, it is 4-4.
Today's small cars are tougher than ever on oil. Their high-compression engines not only rev high, they can run hotter than regular small car engines. Their searing heat can begin to break down an oil immediately. That's why there's Castrol, the only leading motor oil that in every grade provides maximum protection against viscosity and thermal breakdown. So use Castrol before your engine does something to get you heated up. Castrol, engineered for today's smaller cars.
The 1986 Indianapolis 500 champion, Bobby Rahal, winner of the fastest Indy in history. Continuing the winning tradition of Budweiser racing teams, Bobby took the checkered flag to win the Indianapolis 500. Racing fans, this Bud's for you.
Take it from a man who knows his weather. It's going to be a cold, cold winter. But Payne has a great way to warm you up. Buy the Plus 90 gas furnace, and we'll pay you back for 2 months of gas, even the coldest 2. And the Plus 90 is so efficient, it makes gas your most economical way to heat and even better value. So call 800-CASH-OFF for your Payne dealer and get 2 months of free gas.
Gas, America's best energy value.
A 3-run home run from an unlikely source. And bingo, you're even at 4.
Yeah, I guess the source was likely in that it was Strawberry, but the error was the thing that was not likely. Greg Reynolds making the error that really opened up the inning, but the one hit, the high chopper over the glove of Denny Walling, and then the little looper into center field, and then the big bombers came up. Fastball on the inside part of the plate, but not for long.
It was a high towering thing, which again, in the face of the wind, the capricious wind apparently was not blowing in from right in this particular instance, and it was out with plenty to spare. And so Darryl Strawberry takes one swing and does a lot to get the booze off his back, because he was hooted around here quite a bit during this past season and didn't like it.
As a matter of fact, he went 0 for the month of August in this ballpark. 0 for 45 in this ballpark in August. And they were coming down pretty hard on him.
Bill Doran, top of the order, will lead it off for Houston. Doran has a home run in the ball game, but that was off Ron Darley. Rick Aguilera is out there now with a chance to win this ball game. Two balls and no strikes to Doran, and right out of the blocks here, having gotten even, Aguilera starts to fall behind the leadoff hitter.
And I do not think that Davey Johnson will stay with Aguilera too long. He is a middle reliever and a starter. And in this situation, it being the 7th inning, I think Johnson will be more inclined to get McDowell or Orozco back up should the first runner or the first batter and Doran get on.
McDowell has sat down. He's no longer throwing in the bullpen. Time for a moment as Mitchell came in to ask for sunglasses now as the angle of the sun has changed some in left field. It's Bill Doran, Billy Hatcher, and Denny Walling for Houston. And that pitch is up. And it's 3 balls and no strikes to Doran.
Aguilera says, where was that pitch? And Frank Pulley said it was high.
He walks Bill Doran on 4 pitches.
Now batting, center fielder, Billy.
Can it be that McDowell is ready already?
Well, he was throwing in the 6th inning. And the pitcher is leading off the bottom of the 7th inning for the Mets. So if Davy Johnson does make a switch for a pitcher in this inning, it'll probably be a double switch. But right now, nobody is up for the Mets.
And Billy Hatcher's at the plate with a pair of singles in today's ball game. Puts it on the ground. Third baseman Knight comes in, doesn't get a handle, throws it away. Ball goes skittering down the right field line. Strawberry retrieves, and Doran, the lead runner, moves all the way to third.
Well, it'll probably be a hit and an error. I'm a little surprised that Ray Knight wasn't more shallow for Billy Hatcher because the bunt was in order. Of course, he is shallow right there. He was ready. He does get to the ball in a hurry, but when he comes up with the ball, he can't find the handle immediately, and then the low throw allows Hatcher to get a base hit, and the error sending Doran to third base.
Denny Walling at the plate, hits it sharply. Second baseman Tuffle goes to Santana, back to first. Safe at first base, so the run scored. And the Astros go back into the lead, 5-4.
Well, why in the world Tim Tuffle looked at home first? That's why this play was close. He appeared to be out at first, but Tuffle looked at home first. And when infielders are in double play situations, you're back to get the double play. He appeared to be out, but that really has nothing to do with it. Tim Tuffle fielding the ball and looking home first made what should have been a routine double play into a fielder's choice.
Davy Johnson came out to protest briefly on the call at first base, but he's gone quickly back to the dugout. And here's Glenn Davis. 1 out now. And the pitch is low.
He appeared to be out at first base, but it's a routine double play if Tuffle doesn't look home first. And that is one reason that an umpire won't give you a close call like that if you don't execute properly.
Pitch is a call strike to Davis, make it 1-1. Hatcher is given a sacrifice, and Doran moving to third on the error by Knight on his throw, and Doran scoring from third on the fielder's choice by Walling as the Mets tried to turn the double play and just missed at first. Again, the look at first base, and again it appears the man is out. But he was called safe by the first base umpire, Dutch Renner. One and two to Davis, well outside. Well, that opening walk cashed in by Houston. Strike ball. And Davis is gone. Boy, they've handled him pretty well. He did get that little bumper up the middle, but otherwise they've handled him well today. 2 down. Kevin Bass. Struck out looking, walked, fly ball to right.
The Astros scored their run here in the 7th inning, much like the Mets set up their 3 in the bottom of the 6th.
Yeah, but it's that inning when you've come back.
That's right.
Get your 4. That next inning is so important.
It really is. You want to reverse that momentum as soon as you can, and the Astros have done that.
2-1. The alley, run down by Mookie Wilson. But the Astros battle back in the middle of the 7th. They lead 5-4. Back after this commercial message and a word from your local station.
Listen to the heartbeat of America. Listen to the heartbeat.
When it's time for a change, put yourself in today's Chevy Cavalier and listen to your heartbeat.
The heartbeat of America. That's today's Chevy.
President Reagan and the Soviet leader Mr. Gorbachev are both in Iceland. ABC News will keep you up to date as the talks progress.
As coverage continues this weekend, stay with ABC News.
Dave Ward talks about Houston.
I've been a part of our Houston area all my life, and whether it's with Crime Stoppers or with local charities, the Share Your Christmas program, or in speaking engagements, I feel good when I'm involved, when I'm able to help. And it's a chance to meet a lot of real nice folks. You know, we've got a great community here, and if you're part of something great, you've just got to give something back to it.
Dave Ward, part of the 13 Eyewitness News team. We care about people.
Where are the Thundercats? We don't know, Master. Who's the cauldron will tell us?
You will find the Thundercats at Burger King. For a limited time only, introducing Thundercats meal packs for your kids with a Snarf straw holder, a Thundercats bank, and 2 other Thundercats treasures, a different one each week.
We must get them!
Sorry, Reptile. Our powers work for good, not evil. Thundercats meal packs for your kids, now only at Burger King.
The playoffs between the Astros and the Mets has sparked a war of words between New Yorkers and Houstonians. Listen in on Eyewitness Houston Saturday night at 6:30 here on 13.
It's the Sunday night movie at 10:30 here on Channel 13.
This ABC Sports exclusive is being brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood aged for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you.
We come back to Shea Stadium with the Houston Astros leading the New York Mets 5-4. And in the pitcher spot now, a pinch hitter, Lynn Dykstra, 3 for 8 in the first 2 games of the series. Dykstra as a pinch hitter, 4 for 14 on the year. Bob Knepper stays out on the mound for Houston. But the Houston pen is busy. Calhoun and Kerfeld throwing. And the pitch by Knepper to Dykstra is inside. Orozco is up in the New York pen now. And it's a strike to Dykstra to make it 1-1. Mookie Wilson on deck, and then Kevin Mitchell. Foul right side.
Well, with Mike Scott starting tomorrow, the one thing that the Astros can do now is pitch Jim DeShays today. That's why it's important for Hal Lanier not to have to wait till after the game to make the decision. DeShays is available.
and 2 strikes on Dykstra. Orozco came in relief of Gooden in the first game and pitched very well. He just tied a knot in the Astros in the opening game. And that pitch is high and inside. So Lenny has hung in and worked to a full count.
And now Bob Knepper has to throw Dykstra a fastball. It's always nicer as a hitter when you know what's coming. And now it's a fastball. And see by that look on Dykstra and Lanier's face.
And it's fouled away. What is that, a drum? Three-two count on Lenny Dykstra. Into that tight crouch. Swing and a miss, and he struck him out. The double play that got away.
We were talking about watch the hesitation by Tim Tuffle. The ball hit sharply by Denny Walling. Now watch Tuffle look at home. He's in double play depth. There's really nothing to look home for. Now watch. He wants to go home, and that delay cost the double play. The Astros didn't score any more runs, so it's a moot point, I suppose. But important that when you're in a double play depth, you've got to think about the double play and not the runner at home.
Mookie Wilson on the second pitch hits it sharply foul to the right side, and your count is 1-1 on Mookie. Kevin Mitchell, I'm sorry. That is Mookie Wilson. Kevin Mitchell. I was looking out into the bullpen as Orozco warms up, and as Houston has now 2 men in their pen. If he should decide that is Hal Lanier, as Wilson hits a high pop on the right side for Davis. And he makes the catch just in foul ground for the second out. It's not beyond the pale that for a particular batter he could bring Calhoun for the one man.
A guy like Keith Hernandez, and that's probably why Calhoun is up right now. Of course, you got a left-handed pitcher out there. I guess Calhoun probably would be relegated after Kerfeld to get one man maybe in the 9th inning or something like that.
Mitchell, right-handed batter at the plate now. Kevin with a single and has scored a run. There's Jeff. And Mitchell fouls it away. The one thing about the Houston bullpen that has been pointed out time and time again is the absence of the left-hander, whereas Orozco fills that spot for the Mets with great effectiveness. And Jesse now has stopped throwing out of the New York pen. Mitchell swinging at a high fastball on the outside part of the plate, doesn't get it. He's behind now, 0-2. Kerfeld and Calhoun have both slowed down to become spectators now, so apparently they are ready. And apparently Orozco is ready. A little bleeder to the right side. Doran can't get it. Bass has no chance at it, and Mitchell is aboard. A handle hit looped over the second baseman's head. And Keith Hernandez coming to the plate. Get the feeling that somebody that Hal Lanier is going to pop out of that dugout, but he has not. Hernandez on the day is bounced out to the first baseman and singled twice and scored one of the 4 New York runs. And Knepper gets a strike. If Hernandez does get aboard here, and Carter coming up, I'll be surprised if we don't see Kerfeld.
You can bet your house on it.
Kevin Mitchell, base runner with 2 out. Dykstra led off, struck out. Mookie Wilson fouled out. There's Big Charlie. Pitch is high. 1 ball and 1 strike.
One of the very difficult things about Keith Hernandez, he is so tough to defense against. You got to play him straight away. He uses all parts of the field in which to hit. Line-to-line hitter with good power to all fields.
That pitch is inside. It's 2-1. You can see there's one left-hander, and of course you got to count the Shea's in there too, but he has not been active. Calhoun is listed as the only, quote, reliever. Hit to center field. Hatcher drifts back, makes the catch, and Knepper gets out of the inning, getting a very dangerous man on a fly ball to center. And after 7, Astros 5-4.
Compare camcorders, and you'll see why Zenith's lightweight, autofocus, compact VHS wins. Single-handedly. Zenith. Quality.
Charlie, give me a light. Charlie, a Bud Light.
If you just ask for a light beer, you never know what you'll get.
Give me a light. Bud Light. Hey, thanks.
So if you want the less filling light beer with the first name and taste, don't just ask for a light beer.
I can have a light? Bud Light.
Bud Light. Because everything else is just a light.
Today, this radio can play 31 hours longer than a year ago.
That's because it's powered by the supercharged Energizer. 31 more hours of music.
Today, no battery in the world outlasts the supercharged Energizer.
Announcing the Valvoline 4-Guard I Love a Parade sweepstakes. Win a trip for 4 to 4 of America's greatest parades. To enter, watch the next commercial and remember what the driver of the smoking car says. Then go to a participating store for details.
Big parade this year.
It's the economy.
Oh, Russell, what kind of motor oil are you using?
Motor oil is motor oil.
Motor oil definitely is not motor oil. A 4-cylinder engine works harder and needs the extra protection of specially formulated Valvoline 4-Guard.
Not much of a parade this year.
That's the economy.
Oh, Russell.
Zenith's clean, cube-shaped styling gives you so much screen from side to side and corner to corner, it makes watching television a whole new ballgame. Zenith. Quality.
The skyline of Manhattan. The attention of the big city, a great portion of it anyway, focused right out here on Shea Stadium. And tonight, Game 4 of the American League Championship Series as Roger Clemens will go for the Red Sox and Don Sutton for the California Angels. Angels winning last night to go on top 2-1. Now we've got some changes for the New York Mets as Jesse Orozco comes in relief. Ron Darling started. Aguilera succeeded him in the 6th. Orozco's on in the 8th. Lenny Dykstra goes into center field, and Mookie Wilson moves over to left field, and Kevin Mitchell leaves the lineup.
Jesse 8-6 on the year. He pitched a perfect inning, as Keith said earlier, at the Astrodome, striking out 1. And he has a 2.33 ERA with 21 saves, but the ERA for a short reliever is sometimes much misunderstood because a lot of times if you give up runs with runners on base, it's somebody else's Yeah. There ought to be really a different department for short relievers' ERAs.
Orozco facing left-hander Jose Cruz. And he hits the outside corner. He pitched an inning in the opening game in relief of Dwight Gooden and was totally effective. Pitch is inside. Alan Ashby, the Houston catcher, will switch over and hit right-handed. And we may well see Dickie Thon come up for Craig Reynolds. You could see that.
For two reasons. For defense, as he went in the other night, and for offense.
Roscoe now goes to 2 balls and a strike to Cruz. 5-4. Houston leads, batting in the top of the 8th inning. Mets came up with 4 runs in the bottom of the 6th. Rather weak swing by Jose, a sweep at it, if you will. Davey Lopes is the man holding the bat right now, so you could see Lopes as a pinch hitter as well. You might see Thon and Lopes both if somebody gets on. Cruz out on a pitch on the outside corner, called strike 3.
Well, this is just a nasty fastball thrown by Jesse Orozco. Notice how he ducked down there, and that's to get the front side of the left-hander to leave, and then he throws it on the outside corner.
Alan Ashby turns around and hits right-handed. Pins it in for a strike. Davey Lopes is out in the on-deck circle and will hit apparently for Craig Reynolds. 1 ball and 1 strike to Ashby. Maybe he was beating the drum. Just outside. Houston with 2 in the first, 2 in the second, 1 in the 7th. Mets with 6 in the bottom of the, with 4 in the bottom of the 6th. And it's a 5-4 Houston lead. To the shortstop, Santana. 2 down. All right, Dickie Thon has come out now and is also standing at the on-deck circle, but it is Davey Lopes who will be hitting for the shortstop, Craig Reynolds. But Dickie Thon will surely go in at the shortstop position for the glove.
This is a very interesting thing right here. I mean, if you pinch hit with Thon, then of course he stays in the ball game, but if he makes an out, the pitcher leads off the 9th inning. By pinch hitting Lopes and then putting Thon into the lineup, Hal Lanier will insert the pitcher in the 8-hole to make him the 9th hitter in the 9th inning. Very interesting and shrewd move by Hal Lanier.
Davey Lopes, of course, so long with the Dodgers at second base, then Oakland, then Chicago, and now to Houston. Ray Knight gets a good bounce at third and throws him out. So Orozco comes in and gets Houston in order. And it's 5-4 in the middle of the 8th inning.
Hello. You may notice that Ed and I have brand new ties. This is to prove that even at our age, it is not impossible to change your habits. For example, instead of ordering the same thing every time at your favorite restaurant or tavern, why not ask for a Bartles & James premium wine cooler instead? Its fresh fruit juice and premium white wine make it the perfect refreshment for any occasion. So change a habit today. Get some new shoes, go to work an hour later, and ask for Bartles & James. Thank you for your support.
Can you believe the way some fast food places make chicken? It starts out frozen and can end up like rubber. At Kentucky Fried Chicken, the original recipe and extra crispy chicken start out fresh, and they're cooked fresh all day long, so every piece is tender and delicious. Finger-licking good.
At Kentucky Fried Chicken, all we do is chicken, so we do it right. Anyone else's chicken may leave you cold. Kentucky Fried Chicken, we do chicken right.
Game 3, American League Championship Series. Tempers flare as the long balls flew. Oil can Boyd's control slipped away while Angel Bat said hello to the bleachers. California leads Boston 2-1. Game 4, tonight.
For generations, First City Banks have been building a proud tradition. We're there to help you realize your dream. No one brings more banking convenience into your neighborhood. We're helping to spread higher education across the state. We even help you reach for the stars. So keep moving ahead, Texas, and count on First City to help you keep growing through all the years to come.
Charlie Kerfeld, big right-hander. In relief now, Bob Knepper in the bottom of the 8th inning. Gary Carter comes out to face Kerfeld. Charlie was in 61 ball games as a reliever this season with a record of 11-2, and you saw there, made a brief appearance in the championship series. He brings heat to the mound.
In all forms, he is a zany character, I'll tell you. Throws awfully hard.
Strike one to Carter. Bounce. Late. Darryl Strawberry is on deck, and then Ray Knight.
Charlie Kerfeld made his major league debut as a starter in this ballpark in the middle of June of last year.
Slider is outside. It's 2 balls and a strike. Houston's closer, or door slammer, or call him what you want, Dave Smith, is now up in the bullpen. Back to the mound. Behind the back grab by Kerfeld, and he throws out Carter.
Well, you got to love it. That's all there is to it. I don't either. And neither does he. But watch him.
It's part of the act.
I'm telling you. He catches it. Now watch what he does to Carter. Watch. He's going to point to him. Just for a little added emphasis. A little point there, Gary. I'm telling you, I don't believe it. I mean, if he doesn't catch that ball, conceivably that ball could go into center field for a base hit.
Either that or it's a broken tailbone. Darryl Strawberry is at the plate. And the first pitch bounces to him. 1 out. Oh, Charlie, he'll make his mark before he's done.
The Jetsons have arrived.
Pitch is high for ball 2. It was Strawberry with that big 3-run home run that got the Mets even in the bottom of the 6th inning. There's a strike. Strike 2. Foul ball, right side. Bill Robinson flags it down. First base coach. Kerfeld does not give you much time to take a breath. He
no, he
comes right
doesn't.
at you.
Let me have the ball. I want to throw it.
Two on Strawberry. Struck him out.
Tell you, Keith, I never liked to hit against pitchers where I couldn't see their eyes. It reminds me of Bob Field back in that old Forbes Field. As you see, this is some gas right here. High fastball. And Strawberry swings and misses. Remember, Bob Field used to go behind the mound and clean his glasses and then throw about 110 miles an hour? I'm telling you.
Ray Knight fouls it off. And it just missed Tim McCarver.
Kerfeld has not thrown a breaking ball over yet. That slider that he throws. How can Yogi and Hal Lanier be that calm at this stage of the ball game?
Maybe they tied themselves down or something. Ball is hit in the air to right. Kevin Bass has some room on it. Makes the catch for the third out. So Kerfeld does his thing. And the Mets go down in order as we move on to the top of the ninth inning. The Astros leading 5-4.
Listen to the heartbeat. Listen to the
If you have a dream, put yourself in today's Chevrolet Corvette and listen to your heartbeat.
The heartbeat of America. That's today's Chevrolet.
Great sale if you know karate. They grab the good stuff. I get thumped, bumped, pushed aside, and yelled at. I've got a headache this big, and it's screaming for Excedrin.
Excedrin, the headache medicine. Regular strength pain relievers give you only this much medicine, but Excedrin gives you this much more. Nothing proven stronger without a prescription.
I had a headache this big, but I took Excedrin, and it's gone.
Excedrin from Bristol Myers. Excedrin, the headache medicine.
Give me a light. Bud Light. Cold but chilly.
If you just ask for a light beer, you never know what you'll get. Give me a light. Bud Light. So if you want the less filling light beer with the first name and taste, don't just ask for a light beer.
Give me a light. No, Bud Light.
Bud Light. Because everything else is just a light.
Jim Lampley in our ABC studio in New York, and that is no misprint on the graphic over my shoulder. Cincinnati, which shocked the college football world by beating Penn State 3 years ago, is trying to repeat the feat against a much better Penn State team, leading 17-14 in the fourth quarter. Penn State having just gotten the ball for what may be its last or next to last possession in the game. Keith?
Jim, thanks very much. And that will send a tremor through the ranks of the polls, won't it? Whew. Of course, it isn't over. All right. Dickie Thon, the shortstop, will come up now and hit. Hitting in the number 9 position. Wally Backman is now playing second base defensively for the New York Mets. And Jesse Orozco comes with a breaking pitch on the outside. Not much of a break. Is that a hard slider?
Hard slider and fastball, a tailing fastball, as you saw Wally Backman has inserted.
To the shortstop, Santana. Thon runs pretty well, but Raphael gets him. So Thon hitting in the 9th position. We go back to the top of the order now for Bill Doran and Billy Hatcher. A 5-4 ball game in the top of the 9th inning.
That's another small managerial move, but a good one. Since Tuffle is leading off the bottom of the 9th inning, why not insert Backman since the left-hander's already out of the game? A good move by Davy Johnson. Pick up a little defense in the top of the 9th also, if needed.
Dave Smith is no longer active in the Houston bullpen. Two balls and no strikes. To Doran. Jesse reached back for a little extra on that fastball and brings it in to make it 2-1. Sharply hit to center field. Base hit for Doran. He has homered, walked, and now singled.
Billy
Scheduled to come up for New York, bottom third of the order. Tuffle is already out of the ball game. Santana's spot, and then the pitcher spot. And here are the people on the Mets bench available to manager Davy Johnson. 24-man roster. Billy Hatcher with Bill Doran on first base.
I'll tell you, Keith, it amazes me, speaking of that 24-man roster, it amazes me that the Major League club owners have maintained that 24-man roster throughout the 1986 season. I thought it'd go back to 25 after about a month, and that seemed to be the general feeling of most everyone.
Ball one to Hatcher. Walling on deck. Roger McDowell is back up in the New York bullpen. Got to have somebody ready in case somebody can manifest some productivity in the bottom of the ninth inning and produce at least a tie.
Yeah, McDowell is up for Glenn Davis right now. Walling is on deck, but Davis in the hole. Should he hit this inning, don't be surprised if McDowell's in there.
2 balls and no strikes to Hatcher. On the corner. 2-1. Remember, the American League Championship Series goes tonight, 8 Eastern time here on ABC. That's game 4 of the American League Series between the Red Sox and the Angels.
And Roger Clemens coming back with only 3 days rest. Mike Scott tomorrow night coming back under the same circumstances.
Hatcher swings and misses, and they've got Doran hung up. Got him caught, and Hernandez packs him out. So Hatcher swinging and missing, and Doran got caught between first and second.
Right, it's a hit and run, and it's the responsibility of the hitter to put the ball in play. The ball was in the dirt, and Doran's an easy out. He gives Keith Hernandez a little courtesy shove after Hernandez tags him out. Little shoulder there. That will be logged by Hernandez because Bill Doran, the second baseman, covers second on a lot of double play attempts.
2 down, and Hatcher now with a 2-2 count. And Orozco changes speed, misses outside to go full count. Hatcher walks. Well, in the second ball game in Houston, you had Bass run into an out, and you had Hatcher get caught in a fly ball deep from the outfield.
Well, of course, you know, on that double play ball, or beg your pardon, on the hit and run play, all a manager can do is try to get a hitter a good pitch to swing at. And Hal Lanier tried to do that, but unfortunately the ball was in the dirt, and Hatcher had to go for it, and Doran was a dead duck.
Denny Walling takes ball 1 from Orozco. Two out. Top of the ninth inning. Houston leading 5-4. Check swing foul. Down the third base side. This telecast presented by authority of Major League Baseball may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form without the express written consent of Major League Baseball. Hal Lanier talking to his catcher. As you saw in that instance many times, Al Lanier in this instance, however, talking to the coach, who in turn is talking to the hitter. Saw the other night as Walling swings and misses. Constant communication between Ashby and Lanier. They were in a defensive posture.
I would be very, excuse me, Keith, I would be very surprised also that Lanier wasn't flashing a steal sign to Billy Hatcher at first base. It's a 1-2 count. 2 outs, left-handed hitter up there. I want to try to steal another run.
Hatcher goes. Pitch is swung on and fouled away, coming back out of play. So one would surmise that was the point of the sign language.
Hatcher's looking at Minke at third base. A lot of coaches want you to look at them, as you see Dennis Minke, the third base coach of the Astros, before you get back to first base, because when you get back to first base, everybody's looking at the third base coach.
Double play. A pitch in the dirt denying Hatcher contact on the ball, resulting in Doran getting caught in a rundown. Right now looms as a big play in the top of the 9th inning. That's fouled away, and that time Hatcher made no move toward second. But again, as he walks back, he looks. McDowell is now warm and ready in the New York pen, and he's stopped throwing, standing watching.
Hatcher's running right now. Well, not now, but once Orozco goes home, a lot of third base coaches give signs, and they try to decoy a catcher. They'll look off into the outfield as though they've done nothing down there. A lot of times that's kind of a dead giveaway that they have done something.
Hernandez motioning to Orozco. You can see that movement. He's in his hold position. You watch his left hand now, and he will indicate to the pitcher when he wants him to come. That time he wanted him to come. Hatcher goes. Swung on and missed. Strike 3. Side retired. So it's 5-4 going to the bottom of the 9th inning. Back after this commercial message and a word from your local station.
We're not a company, but no company has more pride in what they do, or more pride in how well they do it. We offer you a meaningful and fulfilling future, one that goes far beyond the ordinary, one that brings with it the respect and admiration of Americans everywhere. We're not a company, we're your country. We're the Air Force, the Marines, the Army, the Navy. We're the Armed Forces. It's a great place to start.
The #1 team in the nation, the Miami Hurricanes, take on West Virginia, or 6th-ranked Oklahoma tackles Texas. Coverage begins with college football today. Next.
The playoffs between the Astros and the Mets has sparked a war of words between New Yorkers and Houstonians. Listen in on Eyewitness Houston, Saturday night at 6:30 here on 13.
Sunday morning at 9. Life is always a gamble for the Mavericks.
Ben and I are just waiting for tomorrow's train.
I got some power here, boy. Just doesn't seem right, does it?
You and your brother are trying to take over my game.
I learned a lot just by staying around you.
I picked up a few pointers myself.
James Garner and Jack Kelly introduced the new Maverick Sunday morning at 9 here on 13.
Roland Govan talks about weather.
You know, Gulf Coast weather is unique. I've tracked it for years in Corpus, Beaumont, now Houston and Galveston. Even after interpreting all the scientific data, it's the Gulf Coast experience that gives one the extra sense for accurate forecasting. That same sense is shared by my colleagues, Ed Brandon and Doug Brown. It's one of the reasons most people rely on eyewitness weather.
Roland Govan, part of the 13 Eyewitness News team. We care about people.
Texas and Oklahoma, Saturday afternoon at 2 here on 13.
Coming through in the clutch with some of its lesser-known players on the field, Penn State apparently has averted disaster, a David Clark touchdown run, a safety on a blocked punt, and it's now 23-17 Penn State late. Keith?
All right, Jim, thanks very much. And here are your hitters now for New York in the bottom of the ninth inning. The crowd up on their feet, shouting to the heavens as Wally Backman, Danny Heap, and Leonard Dykstra will come to the plate for the Mets. Houston leads it 5-4. Backman up for the first time in the ball game. All three left-handed hitters, and pitching now for Houston, the closer, Dave Smith. The first pitch is ball one. Knepper started, Kerfield an inning. Now it's Dave Smith, the big man in the bullpen for the Astros.
33 saves on the year. That's why he's in there now.
1-1. Houston trying to protect the 5-4 lead and go ahead in the series 2-1. Ball is punted by Backman. Roll toward the first baseman, and Backman out to the extreme portion of the baseline. And now Hal Lanier is going to scream about it, is it? Whether or not he left.
They're going to say that he went out of the baselines to avoid the tag. That's Lanier's argument right now. Now watch Wally Backman. Now obviously you can do this on a single to the outfield, but it's questionable as to whether you can do it to avoid a tag. You must be able to touch the bag. Now did Backman circle and come back to touch the bag, or when he made the circle, was he in a position to touch the bag? It was Dutch Renner's position that he was always in a position to touch the bag, and now they're going to get some help. Frank Pulley.
Frank Pulley, the plate umpire. It was Dutch Renner's call, and he called him safe.
I think Lanier is asking Pulley to help Rennert out because Rennert was preoccupied with the tag of first base, and maybe Pulley may have had a better view of whether Backman went out of the baselines to avoid the tag or not.
Well, he clearly left the baseline.
Yeah, you can do that. You can do that on a single. You see guys sweep around in the whole bit. But if you're doing it to avoid a tag, then it's another thing. See, that's why those two lines are right there. Now, he did go outside the line there, but he was able to come back and touch first base. And that's what the umpires have concluded.
And so it is a bunt single for the leadoff man, Wally Backman, and here is Heap. Matty Heap with 9 pinch hits in 30 at-bats this season. Former Astro. And Backman with good foot speed on first base, representing the tying run. Heap against Smith, though, has not been productive this year. But it's a different season right now, isn't it?
Certainly is.
Bunt is fouled away. Denny Walling got a late start at third, as it seemed obvious that Heap would try to put it down in his way.
Well, this is a bit strange because Danny Heap has no sacrifices on the year. The only thing that I would imagine is running through Davy Johnson's mind, if he does get 2 strikes on him, then Heap's a better hitter than Santana.
Backman off first, representing the tying run. 5-4 ball game in the bottom of the 9th inning. 1 strike to Heap, and that pitch is inside, and it gets off the glove of Alan Ashby and rolls to the backstop. And Backman goes to second, and now it's advantage Johnson.
just clearly gets away from Ashby. It should be a pass ball. A lot of times when the hitter puts the bat up in front of the catcher's face, he loses the sight of the ball. It blocks his vision. It is a pass ball on Alan Ashby. Now I wonder if Heath will be bunting.
1-1 count on him. Walling stays on the edge of the grass at third. And the pitch is eye high. 2 balls and a strike. Infield has crept in. All 3. All Heath has to do is get the ball to the right side.
Yeah, and things change. You know, no pitch is ever the same. You got a 3-1 count now. What a pitch you can hammer. That was Danny Heath's initial intent in swinging. Just get Backman to third base. But now he's ahead in the count. Now he wants to hammer. He wants to drive him in, not over.
Pops it up. Out of play, coming back into the crowd. And it's 3-2.
That Dave Smith in that fork ball, he has been throwing that pitch. That's his bread and butter pitch. And he got it over on the 3-1 count. And if you're Danny Heath, you ought to look for it again, because that's what you'll get.
To Heath. Fly ball into medium depth center field. Backman comes halfway down and now goes back to second as Hatcher makes the catch, 1 out. So now Dave Smith will pitch to Lenny Dykstra.
Gene Mock once told me that you can score a lot of runs with the types of outs you make. That was not a good type of out to make because Backman's still at second base. No runner advanced.
With Dykstra up, Mookie Wilson now to the on-deck circle and 1 out. 5-4. Houston lead.
I'd say no types of outs are nice to make, but if you do make them, you want to at least advance the runner, especially in this situation.
Dykstra fouls it back. Strike 1. Walling on the grass at third. Davis just off the grass at first. Everybody's on the dirt.
Or the edge of their seats.
Hit to right. Bass going back. Going back. It's gone. 2-game-1 lead in the National League Championship Series. Dave Smith, the ace of the bullpen for Houston, throws a fork ball, and Lenny Dykstra hit it out as the Mets win 6-5.
Panasonic, the future of office automation. Advanced equipment with an extraordinary concept. The easier, the better. Panasonic offers solutions to your special computer problems. High-speed microprocessors, high-resolution monitors, and high-performance printers, which make them a very easy choice. Panasonic computers and computer peripherals, like our typewriters and copiers, the easier, the better. Panasonic Office Automation.
You know, Ace is the place for some serious savings, like the October Best Buys in the Ace Monthly Circular, the Super Arc Lawn Rakes, just $1.49, the Ames Kangaroo Lawn and Leaf Bag Cart, just $8.99. But Ace is also the place for savings on serious things, like the Code 1 smoke alarm with safety light, only $4.88 after a $5 rebate, and you can charge it. At that price, you can't afford not to protect your home and family.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware man.
Serious trouble. 99.9% of my business is done over the phone.
Effective immediately.
It's got to be cost-effective, and it's got to be clear.
U.S. Sprint is the lowest-priced major long-distance company in America.
That's what I need.
Lower than AT&T, lower than MCI.
Well, we're talking about big bucks.
The best overall savings.
Super.
And if you become a Sprint charter customer during our biggest sale ever, you could save even more. So call now and find out more about U.S. Sprint.
Buy it.
Dancing in the streets, you know. You're looking at Lenny Dykstra, who just nailed a fork ball that didn't fork for a 2-run home run and a 6-5 Mets win. Congratulations, Lenny.
Thank you, Keith. I appreciate it. Just a great effort on the ball club. We came back and battled back. Same thing we've been doing all year.
That looked like a fork ball. Am I calling it right?
I think it was a changeup, maybe a fork ball.
Yeah.
And Lenny, it didn't appear that, you know, I know this sounds strange, but did you hit it on the meat of the bat?
Yeah, I hit it good, Timmy. I'll tell you what, I faced him in this situation earlier in the year at Shea Stadium. Last time I faced him, same situation, man on second base. Had a fastball, I hit it off the wall for a double to tie the ball game. Today, I thought he might come back something off speed, and he did. Unfortunately, I was able to get the good part of the bat on the ball and hit it out of the ballpark.
Well, the folks in Garden Grove, California, out dancing in the street, I'll tell you, they'll be ready to pat you on the back when you come home, and I think Terry just about jumped out of the stands when you hit that.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Congratulations again.
Having a lot of trouble hearing you out here.
I understand. Go back to the clubhouse where it's safer.
All right.
Lenny Dykstra, who won it for the Mets, 6-5.